The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Sit down and try to make yourself comfortable. Yes, it is quite warm in here, but don't worry about it, because in just a moment, we'll bring you a tale that will chill your blood. A tale of black magic that may have begun centuries ago, but which takes place today. A tale in which one of the dark powers of the pit is released on the campus of a Midwestern university.
Did you hear that? It's just the wind. No, it's not. It's something else.
Our mystery drama, The Sending, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Robert Newman and stars Mandel Kramer and Marion Seldes. Is there such a thing as black magic? The ancients thought there was. For centuries, there were those who were willing to trade their souls for the power to call up and control the dark forces of the pit. To what end? Sometimes for power, for wealth. Sometimes, as in this tale, to achieve eternal youth, eternal life. But as we will see, there is always great danger involved, and the price is always high, and usually paid in blood. Our spine tingler begins in a large, rambling house on the edge of the campus of a Midwestern university. A gray-haired woman, strangely shrunken, but with intense, gleaming eyes, sits in a chair in a sparsely furnished room, waiting and listening.
Arnold?
Yes? Where are you?
You know where I am. In my room.
Hello, Mia. How are you?
You know that, too. Where have you been?
At a faculty meeting and then at my office.
And you couldn't get home before this?
Well, I had several conferences. I had to arrange my schedule.
That's what you said yesterday.
Mia, it always takes a few days when you're starting in a new place. Why are you so impatient?
Why? Have you forgotten how I get when my time is running out? Do you realize I've only got about 2 weeks left?
I told you to relax, Mia. Classes will be starting tomorrow, and you know how quickly I can work when I have to. I should have someone for you within a few days. So, to sum up our first session, what we're dealing with then is a tradition that goes back to the dawn of time. Man's belief that he can control not the forces of nature, but the forces that shape nature, and can give him power over other men, and even over life and death. That will be all for today. You have your reading list and your assignment for next time. However, if any of you are interested in any of the many fields I covered in my outline, by all means, come talk to me, and I'll give you some additional reading for a special report.
Well, what'd you think, Beth?
Well, it was quite a lecture. I think it's going to be very interesting.
I'm not talking about the course. I'm talking about him. He's really something, isn't he?
Oh, come on, Debbie. He's married, isn't he?
Oh, sure he is. All the really attractive ones are. But his wife is about 20 years older than he is. Not only that, but she's not well.
How do you know that?
I made it my business to find out. Since he just got here, it wasn't easy. But if you really want something...
Debbie.
Okay. There's no reason why you should care. You've got someone for yourself.
If you're talking about Bill, I haven't got him. He just has the room across the hall for me.
Which he made a point of getting last spring. So, give me a hand. Come on up and talk to Lansing with me.
All right. As a matter of fact, I was going to do it anyway. I thought I might do one of those special reports.
Oh, great. Then you talk to him and I'll tag along.
Okay. Professor Lansing?
Yes?
I'm Beth Howard. I'd like to do one of the special reports you talked about.
Oh, I'm delighted, Miss Howard. It usually takes 3 or 4 sessions before anyone volunteers. Was there something you were particularly interested in?
Well, yes, the tarot.
I should have known. That's usually one of the first assignments to be requested. Tell me, do you have a set of tarot cards?
No, I haven't.
Well, after you do your report, I'm sure the bookstore will have to order them. But in the meantime, if you'll stop by my office this afternoon, I'll give you my set and also a supplementary reading list.
Oh, thank you, Professor.
Not at all. What about your friend? I'm sorry, I don't believe I know your name.
Debbie Ross.
Would you like to take on one of the special assignments too, Miss Ross?
Oh, well, not right now, Professor, but I'll probably ask for one after the next session or two. But in the meantime, I wanted to tell you that I think the course is absolutely fascinating.
Well, thank you, Miss Ross. Today's lecture was very general, of course, an attempt to indicate approach and sketch in background, but I hope you'll continue to find it interesting.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
All right, Mia. I told you could relax, and you can.
You've got one?
I have several. 2 in particular. I'm sure you'll be delighted with either one of them.
You're sure?
Mia, haven't I done it often enough so that I can tell?
Yes, we both have, but Arnold, it'll have to be soon, or I'll be so weak I won't be able to help.
Don't worry, Mia. It will be soon. Not more than another few days.
All the power that ever was or will be is here now. Yes? Who is it?
Who would you like it to be?
Hi.
Hi, yourself. So you're into the tarot.
How did you know that?
I heard your intoning.
Oh, yes. But how did you know that had anything to do with the tarot?
I'm not exactly an ignoramus, but I did a lot of reading in it on my own, and in practically everything that was related to it.
You never cease to astonish me.
Yes, I'm quite an astonishing guy.
Uh-huh.
But how come you're not just studying it, but working with the cards?
It's for Professor Lansing's course. I'm doing a special report for him.
Oh, good old Witchcraft 1-2.
Now, come on, Dill.
We were a little surprised when we heard he was going to be giving it. Though I don't know why we should have been. Quite a few of the universities are giving courses like it. After all, this is the age of Aquarius.
It happens to be a very interesting course.
Yeah, sure it is. And Lansing's a fascinating man.
Yes, he is. You know him?
I've never met him officially, but I've seen him at the pool.
The pool?
Yeah, he's a very good swimmer.
Oh, I'll have to tell that to Debbie.
Why?
Well, she's taking the course, too, and she's got quite a thing about him.
Yeah, well, just tell her to watch her step.
Oh, because he's married?
No, because I've got a funny feeling about him.
Yes, come in.
Good afternoon, Professor Lansing.
Good afternoon. It's Miss Ross, isn't it?
Yes. Oh, I hope this is all right, my coming here to your office.
Well, that's what I'm here for. What can I do for you?
Well, I told you after your first lecture that one of these days I'd like to do one of your special reports.
Yes, I remember. And you're ready to do one now, are you?
I've gotten pretty well squared away in all my other courses, so I do have time for it.
Well, I'm delighted. Now, is there any area that you're particularly interested in?
No.
Well, then how about divination?
Foretelling the future?
That's right.
That's a big field, isn't it?
Yes, it is. There must be 100 ways people have used to look into the future. I'll give you a reading list on it, and why don't I give you this, too?
What's that?
It's called a speculum. It's an old bronze mirror.
What a fascinating-looking thing.
Yes, it is, isn't it? I got it in Paris years ago. I've never been able to date it, but it's probably Roman, Mithraic.
But what is this strange-looking head on it?
That's Kronos, or eternal time. He was an important figure in the mysteries of Mithra.
And what do I do with it?
Well, it was undoubtedly used not just in Roman times, but all through the Middle Ages to foretell the future by looking into a mirror.
Oh.
Why don't you try it? You'll find the technique described in Zeller, one of the first books on the reading list.
Oh, it sounds very exciting. Thank you very much, Professor.
Not at all. It's a very rare and unusual thing, so I wouldn't give it to just anyone. But I know you'll take good care of it. And we'll all be looking forward to your report.
I've got the girl. One of the two I told you about. Her name is Debbie Ross.
She has the mirror?
I just gave it to her.
Good. When can we do it?
You are impatient, aren't you?
Yes.
All right. We'll do it tonight.
I hope you're approaching the occult with the proper amount of skepticism, said Professor Lansing. But somehow he didn't sound very skeptical himself just now. Exactly what are he and his wife planning to do tonight? And what does that have to do with the mirror he gave Debbie? We'll find out shortly when I return with Act 2. Unto all things there is a season. And of course, the proper time for one of the darkest aspects of the occult black magic is night. Well, it's night now, about 10 o'clock. And Beth Howard has just arrived at Debbie's rooming house, which is only a block or so from the campus.
I was afraid you weren't coming.
Well, you said it was important, that you had something to show me.
Yes, I have. Look.
Oh, wow. What is it?
A speculum.
What's that?
An old bronze mirror, probably Roman.
Where did you get it?
From Professor Lansing.
Oh.
I went to see him this afternoon. Beth, I think he likes me. He said he wouldn't give it to just anyone.
I'm sure he wouldn't. It's a very unusual thing. What are you supposed to do with it?
Well, it's all here in this book. The room should be dark, lit only by one candle. And you sit with your back to the candle, and you stare into the mirror, keeping your mind a blank.
Uh-huh. Have you done it yet?
No. Well, I started to, and I felt a little funny about it.
Funny how?
Just funny. It's a wonderful-looking thing, but it's pretty weird. You know, all those figures around the edge of it.
Is that why you called me?
Yes. I thought maybe you wouldn't mind staying here with me while I tried it.
Oh, of course I don't mind. Are you going to do it now?
Oh, yes. I'll light the candle. Get the light switch.
All right. It's strange, but I know how you feel. I felt very much the same way when I was working with the tarot cards. We don't really believe in any of the things we're doing, but for centuries, people did believe in them.
Keep quiet now. I'm going to look and concentrate.
All right. Well, do you see anything?
I don't know. I think maybe...
What do you see?
Wait, I'm not sure. It's probably just a shadow, but I do think I see something in there.
Oh, what does it look like?
Hard to tell. It's dark, very dark and shapeless. It's moving. It's turning. Beth, it's got eyes. Flaming eyes.
Oh, come on now,
There
Debbie.
it has. It's looking at me. Put on the light, Beth. I'm not going to look anymore.
Okay.
Oh.
You really did think you saw something.
Yes.
Well, as you said, it was probably just a shadow, the candle flickering. You really are shook up, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
You want to come over to my place and stay overnight with me?
Well, could I?
Of course. Bill's out, too, giving a seminar, but he should be back soon, and if my light's on, he'll come in for a while.
Oh, good. Just let me get my coat and wrap this up again.
You're taking the mirror?
Oh, I better. It may be a scary thing, but it's very valuable, and I said I'd take care of it.
All right, Mia.
Is it time?
Yes. Let's go into my study.
You'll have to help me.
Of course. Take my arm.
Oh,
Slowly.
Arnold, I really am weak. I've never felt so weak before.
It doesn't matter. We'll all be over in a little while. Here, now, sit down.
Yes.
I'll get the box. Here, now, hold it while I light the incense.
I have it. Where do you think she is?
What is the difference? She has the mirror. No matter where she is, it will find her. Are you ready?
Yes.
Give me the rod.
Here.
All right, now you'll be quick with the art theme when I need it.
Yes.
Peor, wherever you are, hear me. Do you hear me, Peor? With this rod, and in the names of Gagerim, Amatet, Algar, and Algasta, I summon thee.
It... Coming, Arnold. There it is. Over there.
I see it. Take the rod and give me the art theme.
Why must it be wrapped this way?
You know why. It mustn't be touched until it's needed. Quickly, hurry.
Here.
Stay where you are. I hold the art theme, whose hilt is signed with the seal of Solomon and which is more powerful than you are. Now hearken to me. We have a life for you. You will know her as you always have before because she has your mirror. I give her to you, and thus buy another year of life for Mia. Is it agreed? Good. Begone then, and take her, and then fulfill your part of the bargain.
It gone.
Yes.
Are you all right?
Yes. Yes. Somehow I always forget how much it takes out of me. Yeah, here's the art theme. Wrap it up again carefully. I'll get us both some brandy.
Why are you going this way? Well, I thought we'd cut across to Kansas. Why? You're still upset, aren't you?
Yes.
Look, I'm not going to say it's silly. I've gotten anxious myself at times when there was no real reason for it. But you know the whole thing was just your imagination. You've been doing a lot of reading about things that are strange, and you think you saw something in the mirror. Probably one of those heads that are on it.
I guess you're right.
I'm sure I am. But if it's going to affect you this way, maybe you should give up the course altogether.
No, that seems silly. Besides, you always claimed one of my troubles was I was too literal and I didn't have any imagination.
Well, it's beginning to look as if I was wrong. Well, why don't we talk to Bill about it? It turns out he knows a lot about this sort of thing.
How come?
Well, he got interested in it through his work in English Lit. The tarot when he was writing a paper on the wasteland, and black magic when he was doing an analysis of the Gothic novels.
You two are really an item, aren't you?
I don't know what you mean.
Oh, of course you do. You never see anyone else, neither does he.
Well, I like him, and he likes me.
You just like him?
Okay. I more than like him. If he asked me to marry him, I'd do it in a minute.
He will.
How do you know?
I just think he will.
Well, it's not all that simple. He's just an instructor now, and it'll be a while before he gets his... What is it?
Don't you hear that?
Oh, it's just the wind.
No, it isn't. It's something else.
I don't hear anything.
Well, I do. A kind of humming, singing sound. Look, over there, near Brewster Hall.
It's only a shadow.
It's moving. It's coming this way.
No, stop it, Debbie. You're getting yourself all worked up about nothing.
It's coming this fast. It's got eyes. It's that thing I saw in the mirror. Come on. Run.
Debbie, wait. If you're going to run, don't go that way. I'll come this way. Over toward me. Oh, my God. It is something. It is. Oh, God, I've got to get help.
Beth, darling. Open your eyes. Beth. Good girl. I was starting to think I should call a doctor or take you over to the infirmary.
What? Oh, Bill.
Yes. How are you?
I don't know. What happened?
I'm not sure. I found you lying on the sidewalk at the edge of the campus. I brought you up here to your room.
Oh, my head hurts.
I'm not surprised. You got a nasty bump. You must have fallen and banged it. Now get a wet towel. I'll put on a compress.
No, wait. Debbie! What happened to Debbie?
Debbie?
Yes, she was with me. We were going across the campus when suddenly we saw it. The thing from the mirror, and we started to run and...
Wait a minute. What thing?
I told you, the thing from the mirror. It came after us. After her, and I heard her scream. Oh, Bill, you've got to go look for her.
Yeah, sure. Look, let me get that...
No, I'm all right. You've got to go find her.
All right, now quiet down, Beth. Now, when I found you, you were all alone.
Because I ran one way toward the house here, and she ran the other, and it was after... You don't believe me.
Well, it's a little hard when I don't know what you're talking about. I mean, what was this thing that came after you, and what was the mirror?
The mirror that Professor Lansing gave her. She was going to do a report for him on divination, like the one I'm doing on the tarot, and...
All right, now, will you hold it a minute? When I left you to go to my seminar, you were still here.
Uh-huh.
You said you were going to stay here and do some reading.
Right, and then Debbie called and asked me to come to her place, and she said she had something to show me.
The mirror.
Yes. An old bronze one, a speculum, she called it. She was supposed to look into it, describe what she saw.
Yeah, speculomancy.
That's right. But she felt funny about it, nervous. So she wanted me there while she did it.
Yeah, and did she do it?
Yes, we put out the light and lit a candle, and she saw... Well, no, she thought she saw something in it, a dark shape with flaming eyes, and that made her more jumpy than ever, so I told her to come back here and stay overnight with me.
Mm-hmm. So you started to walk across the campus together.
That's right, and there was no one around, and then we heard something, a strange sound.
The wind.
Oh, that's what I thought, too, at first. But it wasn't. It was a kind of a musical note, and then we saw it, this dark shape.
Did she see it, or did you?
We both did. She saw it first, and... Bill, you think I just imagined it?
Oh, don't you?
I don't know.
Well, let's go back over it again. She was tense, nervous, thought she saw something in the mirror, and that made her more nervous. So she decided to come over here with you. Then she saw something, a shadow of some sort, which she identified with the thing she thought she'd seen in the mirror.
But I saw it too, Bill.
After she described it to you.
But I'm sure I did see it. It was huge, dark, and... All right, if I did imagine it, where's Debbie?
She's probably back in her room, embarrassed to death at the fuss she made.
I suppose that's possible. When I think about it, it does sound a little silly. I mean, two grown women getting hysterical. But, Bill, would you call her and make sure? Her number's in the book next to the phone.
Sure. Let's see. Here we are. You know, I think maybe she ought to come over here anyway so that we can talk about this, because if the two of you are going to get all worked up about that ridiculous course of Lansing...
It's not ridiculous. It's very interesting just because we got a little silly about it. Well?
Oh, there's no answer.
Bill, I don't like this. I think we should go and look for her.
Go look where? If she's not in her room and she didn't come up here, she could be anywhere. I mean, with another friend.
I don't care. I still want to look for her. I'll show you where it happened, where we started running and...
Well, what good will that do, unless she fell and hurt herself also? Look, I'll tell you what. I'll call the campus police and see if they came across her or heard or saw anything.
All right.
Hello, security. This is William Taylor of the English department. This is a rather odd call, but I wonder if any of your men ran into an undergraduate by the name of Debbie Ross within the last hour or so. Yeah, well, another student, Beth Howard, was with her. They were walking across campus, and they were frightened by something. No, it wasn't a man. It was, What? Oh, no. Where was this? I see. All right. I'll come right over.
Bill, what is it?
One of the guards found her about 10 minutes ago.
What do you mean,
found her?
Found her body in the bushes near Brewster Hall. She's dead.
Man is a rational animal, and we always look for a rational explanation of anything that puzzles us. But what if there is no rational explanation for it? Do we admit that there may be things we don't know about? Things that we've refused to recognize because the idea terrifies us? Debbie Ross is dead. But how did she die? We'll find out when I return shortly with Act 3. It's several days later. Many things have happened in that time. There have been questions, investigations, explanations, and recriminations. There has also been a funeral. As far as Beth is concerned, that is the only thing that really mattered. That and what has happened between her and Bill.
Yes? Who is it?
Bill.
Oh. Just a second.
Hi. So you're still locking your door?
Yes. Which is very silly of me.
All right, I didn't say that. It's certainly understandable.
Uh-huh. Well, it's still pretty childish. You've been treating me as if I were a hysterical female.
But that's not true. I've been perfectly willing to talk to you about it, but you know what the facts are.
Of course. There were no marks on Debbie's body, at least none that could have killed her. She died of a heart attack.
That's right.
But they checked back on the physical she took when she was admitted here, and there was nothing wrong with her heart. Look, Bill, we've been through this before. Debbie thought she saw something in the mirror. Thought she saw it again out on that campus, and that made me think I saw it too.
Look, darling.
Don't call me darling.
Why not?
Because I don't want you to. When I first signed up for the course, you teased me about it, even though you've done a lot of reading in that same field yourself.
I didn't tease.
Yes, you did, Bill. And you made a few remarks about Lansing, saying you had a funny feeling about him. But now
I still have a funny feeling about him. As a matter of fact, I feel funnier about him now than ever.
Why?
Well, because I did a little checking up on him this afternoon. You know, we taught this same course at State last year.
Yes, I know. Well, what of it?
Well, there was an incident there that was very similar to what happened to Debbie. I mean, a student, a member of the swimming team, and therefore presumably very healthy, died suddenly one night of a heart attack.
One of his students?
No. That's the only difference. He wasn't one of Lansing's students.
Well, then why do you call it similar? And why are you making a point of it? If there was no connection between them,
Look,
Bill...
I don't know if there was or not, but I thought perhaps I ought to look into it a little further.
How?
And I'm going to go see Lansing. I'm going to talk to him.
No, Bill.
Why not?
Because I feel odd about him, too. I have ever since Debbie died, and I'm afraid.
Yes?
Good afternoon. Is Professor Lansing at home?
Yes, he is.
Do you think I could see her? My name's Taylor, Bill Taylor, and I'm an instructor in the English department. I stopped by his office, but he wasn't there.
No, he's been very upset about the death of his student, so he's been working at home.
I see. It was an unfortunate thing.
Yes, it was.
You're not Mrs. Lansing, are you?
Yes, I am. Why?
Oh, well, it's just that I thought, I heard...
That I wasn't well?
Yes, that's right.
I wasn't. But I'm fine now. You want to come with me? I'm sure Arnold will be glad to talk to you.
Thank you.
Yes?
Arnold, this is Mr. Taylor of the English department here.
Come in, Mr. Taylor. Come in. Sit down, won't you?
Thank you. First of all, I'd like to tell you how pleased I am that you agreed to stay and continue with your course.
Well, I was reluctant to, but the faculty committee felt that I should.
What happened was very unfortunate, but I don't see how you could have been considered responsible for it in any way.
Well, I felt I was. It seems Miss Ross was a very imaginative person, very open to suggestion, which I should have realized.
I don't think anyone would have realized it. I wondered if you could help me in a project of my own.
If I can, I'd be very happy to. What's the project?
My doctoral thesis, which is a study of the dark tradition that runs through English literature and led to the Gothic novel.
Oh, yes. Very interesting. Well, just how can I help you?
Well, I've done a certain amount of reading in the field, but I wondered if you could give me a copy of the bibliography you used for your course.
Well, I'll be glad to. Unfortunately, I don't have any copies here, but I'll send you whatever I have as soon as I get to my office. What's your address?
21 Maple Street.
All right. I'll get it off to you tomorrow.
I'm very grateful to you.
Not at all.
You gave the same course at State last year, didn't you?
Yes, matter of fact, I did.
Did you know Tom Wallace when you were at State?
Wallace? No, I'm afraid not. Was he a member of the faculty?
No, he was an undergraduate on the swimming team. He died very suddenly near the end of the term.
Oh, yes, I do seem to remember that. Was he a friend of yours?
No, a friend of a friend. Well, I think I'll be running along, and I do thank you, Professor Lansing.
Oh, not at all. Goodbye, Mr. Taylor.
Did he go?
Yes. What did you think of him?
He seemed like quite a pleasant young man and very attractive.
Well, I'm glad you think so, because he's going to be our next.
Oh? Well, you don't have to worry about that for a while. You've got another 4 months.
Yes, I know, but I'm a little concerned about him. As you said, he seemed quite pleasant and very plausible, but he asked me some rather strange questions.
What kind of questions?
About where I'd been before I taught at State. Also about your young friend, Tom Wallace.
You think he suspects?
I don't see how he can. But we can't afford to take any chances.
No, I suppose not. I wasn't going to mention it, but he acted rather strangely with me, too. He seemed surprised that I was up and around.
Oh? That settles it, then.
When are you going to do it?
As soon as possible.
Beth?
Yes, Bill?
I've been waiting for you. You want to come in here for a minute? I want to show you something.
Of course. What is it?
This.
Oh, it's the mirror. The mirror Lansing gave Debbie.
That's what I thought.
Where did you get it?
I found it in my desk drawer about a half an hour ago.
Well, how did it get there?
Well, obviously somebody put it there. I was out all morning and I never locked my door.
Professor Lansing?
Who else? It's his. And the police must have given it back to him after Debbie died.
Well, why would he put it in your desk?
That's a very interesting question. I think I can answer it, but if I do, you're going to think I've flipped out.
No, I won't.
Well, you should, because it's completely impossible. Do you know what a sending is?
No.
When someone who's involved in black magic knows enough and is powerful enough to raise an evil spirit, he can send that spirit to destroy someone.
Oh, no. You mean that thing that Debbie saw in the mirror that I saw out on the campus?
Yes.
And it's here now? In the mirror?
No. But the spirit has to be guided to the victim. And in this case, it's being done with the mirror. It will go where the mirror is.
I still don't understand, Bill. I can understand why he might want to get rid of you, but what did he have against Debbie?
He didn't have anything against her, but there was something of hers he wanted. Her life.
Her life?
Do you remember what I told you about Mrs. Lansing yesterday? That, well, the story was that she was quite old and ill. She turned out to be young and well and attractive.
Yes.
Well, according to the grimoires, the books of black magic, when you raise a spirit, you can also make a bargain with it. Give it the life of someone else in exchange for some more time for yourself or someone close to you.
Bill.
I told you it was impossible.
Well, I would have said so, too, a week or so ago, but now I don't think so. I think it's true. What are you going to do about it?
Well, I've got to get rid of the mirror.
Destroy it?
No, I'm not sure I can do that. I'm going to act as if it were all true, all possible. and fight fire with fire. I'm going to get the mirror back to Lansing.
Give it back to him?
No, put it in his house without his knowing it.
Well, how can you do that?
I think I can. He has a class this afternoon.
Yeah, but what about his wife?
Well, she'll probably go out sometime. If she doesn't, I'll phone her. I'll give her a message that'll get her out of the house.
Bill, I'm coming with you.
All right, Beth. Come on in.
How did you get in?
The back door was open.
You sure no one's home?
Well, you saw his wife leave a minute ago.
Yes. What do you want me to do?
Wait here with the door open a crack so you can see out.
All right. Well, where are you going?
Into his study.
You won't belong? I'm frightened.
No. I'll be back as quick as I can.
All right. Go ahead. Bill!
What is it?
Nothing. A clock startled me. Will you be much longer?
No. Come in here a minute.
You think it's safe?
Yes.
What is it?
I hid the mirror behind the books on one of the shelves, but while I was here, I thought I'd look in his desk, and I found this box.
What's in it?
This rod. It's used for raising spirits.
And that other thing that's all wrapped up?
Yeah, I was just going to look at it. I think Yes. It's an arthame.
What's that?
Well, it's a magic knife that's used to control a spirit once it's been evoked. This is the Seal of Solomon here on the hilt.
And it is all true, at least...
Yeah, it looks that way.
Bill, you got rid of the mirror, so let's go.
Just a second. I want to think. I don't want him to be able to do anything like this again, but I can't take the whole box. I mean, if I do, he'll know someone was here. On the other hand, yes, I can take the arthame.
Well, won't that do the same thing, Bill? Let him know we were here?
No, not right away. See, when I was here yesterday, I saw... Oh, there it is. A dagger. See, I'll wrap that up, and I'll put it in the box instead of the arthame.
Well, what'll happen if he tries to use it?
I don't know.
All right, Mia.
Is it time?
We said midnight.
You are sure he's there? In his room, now?
He has an early class tomorrow, so I would assume so. Now hold the box while I light the incense.
Arnold, I don't like this.
Why not?
We've never done anything like it before. Twice. Not just in the same place, but within a few weeks.
We had no choice, Mia. He's suspicious. And if he goes on prying and asking questions...
Yeah. All right.
Give me the rod.
Here.
Pior, wherever you are, hear me. Do you hear me, Pior? With this rod and in the names of Dageram, Amatet, Algar, and Algasna, I summon thee.
There it is, Arnold. Over there, near the bookcase.
I see it. Give me the arthame.
Here.
Stay where you are. I hold the arthame. I have another life for you. A man this time. He has your mirror. Go to him and destroy him. Why are you looking at me that way? Why aren't you going? I tell you, he has your mirror. Bill, this is the arthame. It's my Persian dagger.
What?
Quick, find it. If you don't... No, keep away from me. Please.
What time is it now?
12:15.
Do you think he's tried to do anything?
I don't know. And I don't know how we'll be able to find out unless...
Oh, what's that?
It's a police car. It's going that way. Toward the Lansing house.
But why?
Let me see if I can find out. Hello, security? This is William Taylor on Maple Street. One of your squad cars just went by going over towards Willow Road. Do you know why? I mean, is there anything wrong? Oh, I see. Thank you.
What did they say?
They're not sure what's wrong. Someone on Willow Road called and said they heard terrible screams coming from number 45. As if someone were being murdered.
Oh, but that's...
Yes. Their house.
Oh, Bill, what are you going to do? Are you going to say anything?
Well, what would be the point? Do you think anyone would believe it?
Of course no one would believe it. Things like that don't happen. At least not today. Oh, people may have thought they were possible once. There are many medieval tales of men who tried to use the powers of evil for their own ends and were finally destroyed by them. I'll be back shortly. As I told you, the tale you just heard was a work of fiction, completely imaginary. But I am reminded of what Shakespeare said. Why do I yield to that suggestion whose horrid image doth unfix my hair and make my seated heart knock at my ribs against the use of nature? Present fears are less than horrible imaginings. Our cast included Mandel Kramer, Marion Seldes, Tony Roberts, and Phoebe Doran. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. And after all, what is a lie? 'Tis but the truth in masquerade, according to Lord Byron. Does it work both ways? Is the truth a lie in masquerade? Those great poets are not always easy to follow. Is it possible that there are neither absolute lies nor absolute truths, but varying degrees of each? As we shall discover, perhaps, during the next hour. Our mystery drama, Come Fill My Cup, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Sam Dan and stars Larry Haynes and William Griffiths. Out of the shadows of the night, the world rolls into light. It is daybreak everywhere, sings the poet, yes. Daybreak and breakfast and off to the daily round of toil for one's bread. They gather at the railroad station in the town of Westville to catch the 749, which will bear them to the big city. more than 50 miles and 61 minutes away. And they purchase their big city newspapers. They stamp their feet against the cold. They exchange idle small talk till the big, shiny electric cars skitter to a stop along the platform, and they scatter aboard and scramble for seats. Thus, another day has begun.
Aboard! Aboard! My name is Frank Durham. I've been with the road 45 years. I can remember steam, diesels, now these. 45 years. Rain, shine, snow, hail. What do them letter carriers say? Well, we go through the same thing. It's funny. When people find out I'm conductor of the 749, they kind of look at me and say, "Hey, isn't that the one?" Yeah, it's the one where the guy was murdered. Now, as a rule, people don't get murdered on trains. Why, I knew all about the Orient Express, but a commuter train? So I guess you want to know all about it. Okay? Tickets? Now, tickets, please. Oh, say, what are you doing up here, Mr. Jorgensen?
Morning, Frank.
Yeah, I thought you'd be back in the club car with Jerry and them.
Yeah, I decided to change my ways. No more cards.
Is that a fact?
You better believe it.
Well, I hope for your sake it's true.
No, Frank, it's all over. I don't need a sermon.
I always felt that poker game was too rich for your blood.
You've no idea how anemic it made me.
If you'll pardon my saying it, you were in way over your head. Why, Jerry Garland is at least a millionaire. So's Pete McHugh. As for Bill...
I'm well out of it.
You listen to a man old enough to be your father. You see you stay out of it. That made me feel good. Don Jorgensen had been a patsy in this high-stakes poker game for more than a year. In 61 minutes, Westville to New York, you could lose $100, $150 easy. And there were days Don did just that. Well, I went back to punch tickets in the club car. That's the last car in the 749's private car. You pay extra for it, but you can sit at a table, have coffee or breakfast, play cards, and you're away from the, well, not the riffraff, but, how the fella put it, the maddening throng or something. Tickets, gentlemen. Thank you.
Frank, you seen Don? I saw him on the platform getting on a train. He's holding up the game. Look, you fellas sit here, play a hand of gin or something. I'll rout him out.
Jerry got up from the table and started walking forward. I wondered what luck he would have with Don. When I went up ahead again, I saw him sitting next to Don. I moved slowly and stood behind him. I was curious.
Everybody's luck turns, kid.
Except mine.
Look, you enjoyed the game.
I can't afford it
now,
anymore.
That's an argument I can't buck.
Look, I am reformed from now on.
Okay, kid. I hope so.
I got a book to read, a crossword puzzle.
Look, I'm all for a guy kicking the habit, any habit. It's just,
It's just what?
Well, it's just, I wish you didn't decide to kick it today.
Why not today?
Well, I feel lucky.
Then I'm definitely picking the right time.
I feel today is my day to take Peter McHugh.
So go take him.
Nobody wants to play three-handed.
Well, you can pick up somebody else.
No, there's not many guys with the courage to play in that game.
Not to mention the money.
Listen, Don, do me a favor. Quit tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah, play today.
No.
Come on now, it's a favor to me.
It sure wouldn't be a favor to me.
Don, you can't lose.
Would you like to know how much I lost this past year?
What I'm trying to say.
And to you, Jerry.
It won't cost you a cent to play today, Don.
Oh, yeah? Let's hear this.
If you win, you win. Keep it. But if you lose, I'll pay you back.
What?
No matter how much. Just keep tabs, and I'll pay you back every cent later.
Well, you must really want to play bad.
Come on, Don. I can hit Pete for a bundle. How can you lose?
Okay. Just this once.
I I didn't know what to make of that whole conversation. Anyhow, Jerry and Don got up, walked to the club car. I finished up front and went back there myself for the morning coffee. Down toward the end of the car, I could see the poker game in full swing. I stood at the bar while Lou handed me my usual coffee, and I ate, drank slowly. I turned to watch the poker players. I could hear the conversation, clinking of coins, and I could see the green of the bills.
Pair of deuces is high. It's you, Jerry.
Yeah, so I see. Now, pair of deuces, check.
Deuces check. Dealer folds. So, ace high bets. That's you, Pete.
This ace high bets $10.
Bill, I see you fold. Okay, that leaves it up to deuces, Jerry.
Yeah, so it does. Well, the little deuces will see that $10 bet and raise you 20.
And that's about how it would go. Check and raise, which is about as cutthroat as poker can ever get. But at least they were honest about it. They didn't pretend it was a friendly game. It went on like that for a bit. And then...
Who wants a cup of coffee? You, Pete?
I had enough.
Bill? You still off coffee? Come on, fellas, I'm buying. How about you, Don?
When'd you ever know me to turn down a cup of coffee?
Yeah, I'll go up and get it now while I'm out of this hand. I'll be right back.
See, you got your card game going, Mr. Garland.
Yep. We have to find a new recruit. Lou, cup of coffee for me, Mr. Jorgensen. Come on, I'm losing money standing here.
Oh, sure thing, Mr. Garland.
Just then, I thought I heard a kind of squealing sound. I left my coffee and walked back quickly to the rear cab. I opened the door to see if maybe we didn't have a jam break. But it was nothing. Anyhow, I stood there for a couple of seconds. I could see Lou at the bar up ahead pouring the 2 cups of coffee. He put them on the tray, and Jerry spilled a packet of sugar into each. Now, the reason I go into all these details is because this is that famous, or what I should say, notorious day. When I started back for the bar, Jerry picked up the tray and started toward the table. Halfway, we met in the aisle. I was about to step aside to let him pass when we hit that curve just before we crossed the New York state line. The train sways pretty bad, and I could see Jerry was about to lose his balance. Well, I wanted to help him, but as he fell back, he automatically thrust the tray forward, and I caught it and took it from his hands. He grabbed the back of his seat, and so did I. For a few seconds, we both nearly fell, but we both managed to keep our balance. Then Jerry took the tray back from me and went to his table, and I watched the game continue from the bar.
Here's your coffee, Don.
Oh, thanks. It's 5-card draw, Jerry. We dealt you in. Ante up $5.
Little jacks are better, huh?
The famous name of the game.
Well, let's take a sip of this coffee, and I'll examine my options.
Hey, now let's get a move on, huh? We'll be in the terminal in less than 15 minutes.
Come on. There's enough time for entire fortunes to be made, Pete.
Boy, that's pretty good coffee this morning, Jerry.
Yeah. Lou gets lucky once in a while. Speaking of luck, gents, she's, open for another $5.
Bill, I see you fold.
Call.
I'm in, and now, cards.
Hey, that is pretty good coffee.
Hey, I want 3.
3 to Brother Pete.
Yeah. Give me 2.
2 to Jerry. And the dealer draws 1.
More kids have lost out on a college education because their fathers drew to an inside straight.
Opener bets. That's you, Jerry. Jerry?
Jerry, you gonna sit there and drink that coffee or what?
All right, don't rush it. Don't rush me.
Don't rush our good friend.
Let's see. Don, you drew 3, huh?
No, Pete drew 3.
You bought.
No, I drew 1.
1. Bill asked for...
Bill didn't ask for anything. Bill's out.
Bill is out. You know, it's hot in here. Somebody ought to ask Frank to turn down the heat.
Hey, look, you gonna bet or not?
What do you think I play this game for? I wish it wasn't so hot here.
Hey, Jerry, you okay?
Yeah, it's my bet, huh?
Hey, Pete, Bill, I think there's something wrong with Jerry.
I bet,
Frank, come over here, quick.
Oh, my chest. My chest.
Frank, you got a phone on this train? Call ahead for an ambulance.
I got this.
Jerry! Jerry!
I telephoned to have an ambulance meet us at the next station. There was also a doctor among the passengers in the third car, and he came back quickly. But it didn't matter. Nothing would matter anymore to Jerry Garland. He was dead. They took him off the train. When we got to the terminal, I had a lot of writing to do, a lot of forms to fill out and reports to make. I was busy in the locker room when I heard a man ask for me.
You Frank Durham?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm Lieutenant Parsons, New York City Police.
Yeah?
You're the conductor of train number 4231. It's the 749 out of Westville, Connecticut.
Sure.
I want you to tell me everything you know about the murder.
What murder's that?
The murder that took place on your train this morning.
Well, wait a minute. That wasn't a murder. A fella died.
A man by the name of Gerald K. Garland.
Yes, he died of a heart attack.
Oh, yeah? Who told you it was a heart attack?
Well, I mean, the way he keeled over, I kind of thought that...
No. He was murdered.
How could he have been murdered?
He was poisoned.
How could he have been poisoned?
That's just what I want to ask you.
Okay, let's all ask ourselves, how could he have been poisoned? And to get the red tape out of the way, the facts are clear. Lieutenant Parsons made that statement because a medical examination showed definite traces of strychnine, a poison in the strychnine family. So, we have our murder on the 749. But how? Look, this is only the end of Act 1. You'll have to be patient until I return with Act 2. Trust everybody, but cut the cards, said the beloved Mr. Dooley. Ah, yes. How many decks of cards have been cut and shuffled on the 749, the commuter express from Westville, especially in the club car, where perhaps the most cutthroat game has been going on for several years. Well, if the game keeps being cutthroat, someone may begin to take that word literally. Obviously, someone did, except he didn't use a knife. He employed poison.
Poison? Are you saying Jerry Garland was poisoned, Lieutenant?
Well, that's what the medical examiner says, and it's good enough for me.
But poison? How could he have been poisoned?
Well, as they say, it was ingested in the coffee he drank.
Oh, no.
Yes, happens to be the fact. Now, it took place in the club car. And what was Jerry Garland doing at the time of his death?
He was playing cards. He was part of this regular game. He was playing and drinking his coffee. Then he just keeled over.
The coffee? How did he get the coffee?
He went up the bar for 2 coffees.
2 coffees?
Yeah, one for himself, the other for Don Jorgensen. Well, he picked up the coffee.
Who served the coffee?
Lou Vitry, our barman.
Now, Lou poured out the coffee into the cups.
Yeah, that's right. And Jerry put them on a tray and went back to the table.
Now, would you know if there was cream and sugar in the coffees?
Yeah, now you mention it. I saw Jerry put in the cream and sugar himself while he was still at the bar.
Into both coffees?
Yeah, that's right.
And then he went back to the table. And then what did he do?
He gave 1 cup to Don Jorgensen, 1 cup he kept for himself.
Yeah?
Well, couldn't have been more than a couple, 3 minutes, and that was it.
And he drank this coffee?
Oh, yeah.
The other cup of coffee, the one he gave this...
Don Jorgensen.
Yeah, Don Jorgensen. He drank his coffee also?
Yeah.
You saw him do it?
Oh, yes.
Right. I want you to stay with me while I question some of the people in that club car.
When?
As soon as I can round them up.
Well, I have to take 1127 out.
No. I don't think so.
That was Detective Lieutenant Parsons. Grover Cleveland Parsons. Well, the first person he got hold of was Lou Vitry, the barman. All of a sudden, I got the shock of my life. But I'll feed it to you gently, the way it was fed to me.
How long you been with the railroad?
5 years, Lieutenant.
What'd you do before that?
Why, look, Lieutenant, is it important?
I just answered the question.
I work for Mr. Garland.
Jerry Garland?
Yeah.
As what?
Well, I was his chauffeur.
Well, why did you leave the job?
Look, do I have to say this?
Answer the question.
Well, can the answer be confidential between me and the cops?
Well, so far.
Because if it's known, I can lose my job. Does Frank have to hear me answer?
No, he won't say anything, I guarantee it. Well, why could you lose your job?
Because, I got a record.
For what?
I did 3 years for burglary, but I was innocent.
Tell it, Lou.
Well, one night there was a burglary. Jewels that belonged to Jerry's wife, Theodora, were stolen. Well, they searched all the servants, naturally, and in my room, I found the bracelet.
Oh, what was it doing there?
Well, it must have been planted there by the thieves to turn the heat on me. And it did. I was put away.
Well, how did you get the job on the railroad if you had this record?
Jerry Garland got it for me.
Why?
Well, when I got out, I went to him to his office.
What are you doing here, Lou? You escaped from jail?
Oh, I'm out, Mr. Garland.
Oh, what do you want?
Well, I didn't steal those jewels.
Now, look, Lou, it was all decided by a court of law.
I ain't a crook, and you know it.
Well, maybe not, but you might have been tempted.
Oh, never. I've been your show for 13 years. You trusted your kids to me when I was little. I lived in your house. Now, you know I ain't a crook. Mr. Garland, you gotta help me.
Well, Lou, if you need some money to get on your feet...
So I need more money. I need a job. I can't get a job. I got a record, you understand?
Yeah, I know it's tough, Lou.
You don't know how tough it is. I'm turned down everywhere I go. Look, help me get a job. Give me a job.
Now, can't very well take you back as my chauffeur.
Why not?
Well, how would it look?
Well, can't you do anything for me? I'll take any job at all. He got me a job. This job. My name isn't Lou Vitry either. I had to change it. Vitry's my mother's maiden name.
Well, how could the poison have gotten into Mr. Garland's cup?
I don't know.
Okay, Lou. That's all for now. Just keep handy in case you need it. You can go.
Oh, thanks. Thanks, Lieutenant.
Well, he doesn't have a motive.
He doesn't have a motive. But that's not true, Lieutenant. He does have a motive. And now I know what that motive is. He was the chauffeur. I never knew that. So now it all makes sense, that conversation I overheard in the bar in the club car a couple of weeks ago. The train was crowded. Jerry had gotten up from the card table and come over to pick up a couple of rounds of drinks. Standing at the bar was Mr. Alexander Trowbridge. Yeah, the very big guy on Wall Street. Very strict, very dignified. Anyhow, Jerry spotted him and said,
Hello there, Alex.
Good evening, Mr. Garland.
Well, it ain't every day I have the privilege of riding home on a train with the Wolf of Wall Street. Hey, let me buy you a drink.
Thank you. I have one.
Well, have another one on me.
That won't be necessary, thank you. I never have more than one.
Okay, Alex. Say, look, I may drop over to your office one day. I may have a little business to throw your way.
Jerry Garland had a hide like a rhinoceros. which is why you couldn't kill him with a bullet or a knife. You had to use poison. Anyhow, it was obvious to me that Mr. Trowbridge was very put out. And the fellow standing next to him spotted it, too. And I remember Trowbridge saying,
I have every reason to suspect that man is a thief. There's no real proof, of course, but Swanson's company handles the man's insurance. We had a burglary some years ago. Wife's jewels were supposed to be stolen. Swanson could swear Garland pulled a swindle on the insurance company.
Is that so?
The jewels never turned up at any of the known receivers of stolen goods. Actually, Swanson must know more than he's telling, but he's stuck for proof. Another round here, please, Lou?
Yes, sir.
I know Swanson wouldn't make such a charge, even off the record, unless he knew it was true. Meanwhile, some poor servant went to jail at...
I'm sorry, sir.
Oh, that's all right, Lou.
It spilled all over you.
Well, it's just water. No harm done.
was that why Lou dropped the glass? Was that why he turned so pale? I didn't think anything about it at the time, but now it makes sense. The lieutenant had just said that Lou Vitry did not have a motive, but he did have.
Yeah, Frank. I know about it.
About Lou having a motive?
Yep. He told me himself. He figured if this kind of thing was being talked about, how Jerry Garland himself could have staged the robbery, it was sure to get the cops, and then he'd really be in a jam.
Well, he's in a jam anyhow, isn't he?
Well, not exactly. You see, if he poisoned the coffee and then gave 2 cups to Jerry to take back to the table, how could he be sure which cup Jerry would drink?
Yeah.
Frank, you see these fellas every day. Who had a motive for killing Jerry?
Well, nobody really liked him.
Who were his friends?
In the club car?
Mm-hmm.
Well, he had no friends that I knew of. Nobody really liked him.
Well, who might have liked him the least?
You get into a discussion of human nature, Lieutenant. Bill Russell, one of the regulars in the game, never opened his mouth except to bet. Now, how do I know what that man thought? Don Jorgensen. Well, he didn't like Jerry. Over the year, he must have lost at least $15,000 in that game. Jerry was practically the only big winner.
$15,000 could be a motive for revenge.
No, but take Pete McHugh. Now, he fancies himself the best poker player in the world. Yet Jerry was always taking his money.
A lot of money?
No. The big loss was pride. Is that a motive?
No, not really. This Don Jorgensen. Tell me more about him.
Funny thing. This morning he decided to quit the game. But he went back for a kind of a farewell.
Let's see what we can do with Don Jorgensen. You lost heavily.
Well, I wouldn't say so, Lieutenant.
Now, it is common knowledge aboard the 749 that you were an unusually big loser. Now, is that true?
Well, actually, in a friendly game, you don't notice.
Now, look, we've got a murder case, and you'd better tell me the truth. Now, we know you work for Simmons and Boswell on Wall Street, and we know what your salary is. We know just about how much you've been losing.
Now, hold on, Lieutenant.
Shall we check your bank to see what loans you negotiated and your insurance company to see if any policies were cashed in? Of course, if you borrowed from the loan sharks, you will really need our help.
Okay. It's true. You want to know what I lost? $21,364.87. You see? I know it to the penny. How could it happen? Well, you take the train an average of 200 days a year. You lose an average of $100 a day. Oh, not every day. Sometimes you win. I even won $300 one morning, but that's just the cheese in the trap. Don't ask me why I kept doing it. It's a bad dream. It cost me my wife. She's going to divorce me.
You suspected Jerry was cheating.
Yes.
Did you kill him?
No.
I think you did.
Lieutenant, I swear to you, I'm innocent.
And I think I know how you worked it. The only way you could have worked it.
That's pretty good. If Don Jorgensen wanted to have Jerry Garland drink a cup of poisoned coffee, how could Don have worked it? Since, as we saw, Jerry got the 2 cups of coffee. Jerry handed out the coffee. How could Don be sure he wasn't getting the wrong one? Well, Lieutenant Parsons has made his deduction on facts and inferences that were available to all of you. Why don't we compare notes in Act 3 in just a few moments? Mr. Sam Johnson, whom we quote quite often because he knew practically everything worth knowing, declared that a man could do anything if he did it in a genteel way, even cheat at cards. Well, Sam Johnson never rode in a commuter train. Jerry Garland cheated, and in the opinion of the police, that's why someone, namely Don Jorgensen, murdered him.
But I didn't do it.
You don't have to say anything.
Am I being arrested, Lieutenant?
Mr. Jorgensen, because of Jerry Garland, you lost your wife. All the money you had.
No. I lost everything because of my own weakness.
And so you decided to kill him.
You're wrong.
You worked out this scheme to poison him.
What good would it do for me to kill him? Would it burn out the disease I have inside of me, this mania to gamble? I swore I would quit, but I can't.
You figured you would poison his coffee.
How? Frank, you saw. The whole club car saw. Jerry went to the bar. He got the coffee. If there was poison in 1 cup, I could have gotten it.
No. You had a way to guard against that.
How? How could I guard against that?
With the help of Lou Vitry.
Lou Vitry?
Don Jorgensen, Lou Vitry. 2 men with powerful motives to kill Jerry Garland.
But I tell you,
First, wait to hear what I tell you. You knew Jerry liked to treat everybody to coffee, so he could brag about it. You knew he would go to the bar to get it. And you also knew the other 2 at the table, Pete and Bill, never drank coffee. So you knew it would only be 2 cups.
I knew nothing of the sort.
Jerry would go up to get the coffee. Lou would pour him the poison cup.
Yeah, but how could Lou make sure I wouldn't drink it?
Because Lou would know which cup was which. And if Jerry set the poison one down next to you, he would give you the high sign. And you would make an excuse or forget to drink it.
It isn't true.
Lieutenant, could I talk to you in private for a second? It couldn't have worked that way.
No?
No.
Well, makes sense. Oh, I got 2 guys with a motive.
Even if you could prove that Don knew about Lou's motive, you don't have a case.
Why not?
Because I saw Lou pour that coffee. It was from the same glass pot that he poured about 10 other cups, including mine. That was the only coffee.
You, drank that same coffee?
So did Don and 8 other people in the car.
Well, then it was in the cream.
Oh, we all used the same cream pitcher.
The sugar. Now, the sugar was in separate packets.
Yes, it was. They were piled in a dish, and I saw Jerry reach in, pick out 2, pour 1 in each cup. Everybody used those packets from that dish. There was no way either Lou or Don could control any single packet if it contained the poison.
You're sure of that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
Well, how did that poison get into that coffee? Now, I've got 2 great motives, Lou and Don. But there's no way I can find for any of them to get the poison in his cup.
Time went on, days passed, and I guess life went on also. I don't know what happens to a murder case when it doesn't get solved and the papers stop writing about it. I suppose it just sort of gets into a file cabinet somewhere. Well, 7:49 left Westville as usual, on or about on time. The club car found other things to talk about. The card game continued with Don back in, But the new member was Mr. Trowbridge. And because he was so fabulously rich, they played for pennies. But I kept thinking and thinking about the murder. Well, one night I was taking my evening run home, and I stopped in the club car. Tickets, please. Tickets.
Hello, Frank.
Oh, evening, Mr. Jorgensen.
Frank, I never did get a chance to thank you properly for what you did for me.
What did I do for you?
Well, the day Jerry was, that cop, he was all set to lower the boom, and then you just took him aside. What'd you tell him?
Well, I just said, a fine, clean-cut chap like you, how could you possibly be a killer?
I bet you did.
You'd be better off if you never bet again in your life. See you. Tickets, please. Tickets. Thank you. Oh, good evening, Mr. Trowbridge.
Evening, Frank.
No poker tonight?
Well, if I may rephrase the title of a grand old song, those wedding bells are breaking up that old game of mine.
Oh, who's getting married?
At the bar there. Don.
Didn't he just get divorced?
Oh, certainly. He had to shed the old one before he could acquire a new one. You're not allowed to have two at a time in our culture.
Well, one was all I could ever handle.
Capacities differ, Frank. Oh, there she is now. She's just come up to the bar. Do you wonder that he finds her company more exciting than our poker game?
No, but don't wonder at all. There is a beautiful young lady.
You mean, you don't know who she is, Frank?
Oh, can't say that I do.
She's Dora. Theodora Garland, Jerry's widow.
She's Jerry's widow?
You mean you never met her?
No. Well, for that matter, Mr. Trowbridge, I never met your wife either.
Yes, that's true.
So she's Dora Garland. How could you figure to be this young and this pretty?
And how could you ever figure what she saw in Jerry?
I moved back toward the bar. Suddenly, I realized that I had seen her before. Somewhere before. But where? Where? And then I remembered where. At the bar in the terminal. I owed Tom Franklin a run, and I was waiting to take the 10:08 out. I was having a beer. There was a man, and there was a woman sitting in the booth ahead of me. The man had his back to me. I couldn't see his face, but I knew it was Don Jorgensen. The woman was facing me. She was that woman. Now I know who she was. Dora Garland. And she and Don Jorgensen were having, as they say, an affair. And from what I knew of Jerry, he was the type who would kill both of them if he found out. So to the long list of motives for murder, add one more. But a good, strong one.
Oh, now, Frank, don't give me any more suspects, huh? I don't want no more motives. I got all of those I can handle. I'll tell you what I need. I need what I can't get. The way any one of them or two of them could have put that poison into the coffee. Why don't you forget it?
Well, it happened on my train. I feel responsible.
Yeah, well, maybe you did it, huh?
Me?
Yeah, well, as I put together everybody's story, Frank, I think you left something out.
What?
You could have poisoned that coffee.
Why? How?
Why, I can dig around for.
How?
Okay. Jerry was starting back to the table with the coffee tray. Okay. Now you're headed the other way, up the aisle. The train gives a lurch. Jerry almost falls. You grab the tray from him.
For just a second.
Long enough, maybe, to put that poison in the cup.
Yeah? Well, here's what's wrong with that theory. First, how could I have, in those few seconds, gotten the tops off the cups and put in the poison?
Tops?
Well, Lou always puts those plastic tops on the cups so you won't spill any.
Yeah.
Second, even if I was a magician and could do it, how could I be sure which cup Jerry himself would drink?
That was a good theory.
Well, maybe the coffee wasn't poisoned in the club car.
It had to be. That poison works within minutes. No, I am afraid we're stuck.
It sure looked that way. A couple days passed, and I was on the 749 again, and somehow it didn't seem the same without Jerry. A likable guy he wasn't, but he sure livened things up. And there was another side to him. I remembered it was a couple of days before he died. He was the first one on the train. He was sitting at the table waiting for the others. And there was a look on his face that I'd never seen before. I guess it was a lost look. Good morning, Mr. Garland.
Oh, morning, Frank.
Oh, something wrong this morning, Mr. Garland?
Wrong? Why do you say that?
Well, I don't know. I guess you just look kind of, blue.
Do I?
Yeah, I'd say so.
I'd like to murder a couple of people, but that couldn't be the reason. Well, we'll get the old game started. That puts a bloom in the cheeks.
Now I remembered. That was the morning after I had seen his wife Dora in the bar at the terminal. So he had found out. And he was actually thinking of murder. I just needed one more little fact. Morning, Mr. Jorgensen. See you're not in the club car this trip.
No, Mr. Trowbridge is on vacation, and Pete is sick today, so I thought I'd sit up here and catch up on some paperwork. Too noisy back there.
Don, when did Mr. Garland find out you were having an affair with his wife?
Say, what do you...
Just answer the question.
Well, now, just about a week before he died.
Now, how did you know that he knew? Did he tell you?
No.
Did he tell Dora?
No.
Then how'd you know?
Frank, did you ever have an affair with another man's wife?
No.
You're not missing anything. But when the husband finds out, you can tell by certain little things in his manner.
Is that why you and Dora decided to kill him?
No. Oh, no, we were scared, yes, but for our own lives. Now, you knew Jerry. He was a violent man.
So why did you fool around with his wife?
You know why? To get back at him. He destroyed me. He stripped me of all my money. My wife walked out on me with the kids. I had to get back at him. And this was the only way I could. It was the one place I could prove I was a better man than he was.
And then I saw it. I saw the whole thing. Why did we all wonder who wanted to kill Jerry? Why didn't we ask who it was that Jerry himself wanted to kill? Why did we believe that the poison was intended for Jerry? Why couldn't it be meant for Don Jorgensen?
Now what, Frank?
Lieutenant, you said I could have been responsible for Jerry's death. You were right. I was.
Are you crazy?
Jerry decides to kill Don. Okay. He goes for the coffee. Lou pours. Jerry then opens the sugar packets. Jerry is in a position to use a packet that he had with him that contains the poison. I notice you're listening now.
Hey, go on.
Now, Jerry comes back to the table with the tray. He knows which cup he has poisoned. But the train gives a lurch. He almost falls. He's about to drop the tray. I'm there. I grab it from him. He saves himself from falling, and his eye is off me for a second or two. I have to stop myself from falling. I switch the tray from my right hand to my left. Unconsciously, I turn it around. He can't see that. It all happens so quickly. I give him the tray as if nothing happened. He gets to drink the poisoned coffee.
And how do we prove it?
I guess we don't. But I believe it. Do you?
The lieutenant didn't commit himself. Do you believe it? It makes sense, satisfies all the conditions. But we are dealing with the most unpredictable materials in nature, namely human beings. Maybe Pete McHugh, the jealous card player, did it somehow. Maybe it was Lou, and/or Don, and/or Dora. Could we swear on our souls it wasn't the conductor? I'll be back with more from the realm of infinite possibility. Our story was about cards. What did a great master of cards say on the subject? The bizarre world of cards, a world of power politics, where punishment and rewards were meted out immediately. A deck of cards is built like the purest of hierarchies, with every card a master to those below it, a lackey to those above it. And there were the masses, the long suits, which always asserted themselves in the end and triumphed over the aces and the kings. Thus spoke the great player, Eli Culbertson. And he was in the know. Our cast included William Griffiths, Larry Haynes, Russell Horton, and Earl Hammond. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. All the world loves a love story. Adventure is absorbing, mystery is marvelous, and suspense is superb. But of all the categories, give me first the tale of the old house, the creaking stairs, the wind that moans about the eaves like a human voice, and the jagged flashes of lightning that tantalizingly reveal only the suggestion of the shapeless white figure gliding through the driving rain. The ghost story. Such a one as I bring you now. Our mystery drama, Legacy of Guilt, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Ian Martin and stars Roberta Maxwell. The house is some 40 miles outside New York, perched on a bluff over the Hudson. An easy hour's commute. It is a perfect example of American Victorian, with fancy gingerbread moldings, surrounded by a wide porch, the steep roof crowned by a useless tower room. It is rambling without being large, and stands in considerable disrepair. A situation that Tom and Angie Barr, two young New York actors who have just become parents as well as new householders, intend to repair.
Tom, what are you doing?
Oh, I overcut one of the shelves a smidge, so I'm backing it off with a wood rasp.
I don't mean that. It's after dinner, and this is supposed to be your day of rest.
Angie, Sunday's the only night off I get from the play.
Exactly. So you ought to spend it with me, to say nothing of your son.
Honey, I spent all day with you and the baby.
That was a hardship.
Oh, come on. You know it wasn't. Hey, what's the matter with you? Something wrong with his nibs?
No, he's fine. Sleeping like a
baby?
What else? Oh, darling.
Angie.
Tom, darling, I don't care what you do with your spare time. You just have so little of it. But I do want you to relax.
Look at who's talking.
You can't kid me anymore since I had the baby. It took Christopher to teach me how to slow down. This time off from the soap opera has been invaluable to me.
This building and remodeling is good for me. It's sort of therapy.
It looks like hard, tiring work to me.
But it isn't. It's a joy. It's a real challenge. Like these shelves I'm building into these 2 alcoves.
They're going to be wonderful. We've got crates of books, and the shelves balance the ones around the fireplace on the opposite wall.
Now, that's just the point. Why does the wall stick out in the middle here a couple of feet?
I thought we knew all about that. It's because the big kitchen fireplace backs up on this, and the stick-out part here is the chimney and the flue.
That's what I thought at first, but look, what if it was a double flue, and behind this is a second living room fireplace?
So? What if it is?
Angie, can't you see? If the living room here had opposing fireplaces, how it'd make the room stunning instead of just plain marvelous.
I see what you mean. But wouldn't it be a terrible amount of work?
I'm not suggesting we start tonight.
Good, because I want you to come up to the attic with me. I've been finding all sorts of interesting stuff up there.
Like what?
Something that would please me and make me happy if it could be salvaged. An old mirror and vanity. I thought they might be just right in the bedroom.
If there's anything connected with the bedroom I haven't provided so far, by all means.
You idiot.
Come on, darling. Let's have a look at your vanity in the attic.
I suppose what I found is ours. Didn't the house come as is?
As far as I know.
Well, it isn't all that great. I'll show you.
See, there's a light somewhere.
It's overhead, right in the middle. Half a sec. There.
Oh, gesundheit. Why, there's enough dust.
I don't think anyone's been up here except me in the last 50 years.
More like the last century.
There's a little lost alcove over here between the eaves and the chimney wall. The stuff's in here.
Shall I drag it out?
Would you mind?
Now, here's your vanity thing. Ooh, heavier than it looks.
Gesundheit!
Turnabout is fair play. Still, maybe some tortured spirit from the past is trying to tell us something.
What?
Amidst the dust of ages, from out the grave I cry, open not the pages, let sleeping vanities lie.
What's that from?
I made it up myself. Okay, I lugged out your dressing table. Does it still grab you?
You know what it is? That's mahogany inlaid with rosewood. And look at that marvelous 3/4 length oval mirror.
What about the rest of the junk in here?
I don't think it's anything we'd want. Except maybe the trunk.
What's in there?
I don't know. I didn't know if I should open it. Or could.
Oh, let's have a look.
Oh, my.
What is it?
Faded old baby clothes. Oh, aren't they sweet? All handmade.
And?
Well, they've never been used. Any of them. At least, I'm pretty sure not.
Anything we can use for Christopher?
No. They're practically disintegrating. They must be 100 years old. Anyway, I don't want Christopher in any hand-me-downs.
Oh, honey, I was only kidding.
Oh, look at this.
What?
An old photograph. Isn't she beautiful?
Let me see. Yeah, she is. You know why?
What do you mean?
She looks a lot like you. You see it?
She does. Sort of. Only I'm not that pretty.
Oh, don't you ever believe it.
She looks awful sad, though. Her eyes are kind of haunted.
Gives you a shivery feeling. I wonder what got her so uptight.
Maybe these clothes were for her baby, and she lost it or something.
So, what do I do about this dressing table?
Oh, just leave it till we know if it's ours to use.
Yeah, check into it first thing tomorrow morning.
What a racket! It's a wonder I ever got the little king off for his nap.
I'm sorry, Angie. I just wanted to get this last shelf up before I get back to my, other profession.
I came down to remind you it's time to get showered, shaved, fed, and off for the theater.
Okay, just one last thing before I go.
What?
Stand back. I can't resist this.
Are you crazy? What are you doing?
Just, proving I'm right. Ah, there. You see, there is a fireplace behind here.
Okay, you convinced me. But did you have to make all this mess?
I just had to convince myself.
Leaving me to clean up.
No, I'll do it.
You haven't time.
Oh, darling, I'm sorry.
Don't be. I'd work my fingers to the bone for this house. I love it.
Are you sure? You know, it's going to be a tough commute once you're back on the TV series again. You working days, me nights at the theater. We'll be lucky to meet each other coming and going.
It won't always be like that. And it's worth it. This is all I ever wanted. Oh, by the way, who was on the phone?
Huh? That was Marge from Copley Realty. She got in touch with Mr. Keever.
Who?
McChesney Keever, the old boy who owned this house before we bought it. Says he doesn't know anything about the things we found in the attic, and we're welcome to him.
That's wonderful.
Now, you want to lug your famous vanity down to the bedroom before I go clean up?
Doesn't it look magnificent?
There's no question. It's a handsome piece of furniture. In its way.
I know it's old-fashioned and Victorian, Tom. But that's its charm. It fits the room. It just sits there by the wall as though it belonged there.
If you like it, I like it. And I really do, anyway. It's an unexpected bonanza. Hey, I can't hang around here admiring it. I'm going to miss half hour tonight.
Go on and have your shower.
What are you going to do?
Oh, just take a sponge and clean up the mirror a bit.
Well, why don't you do it tomorrow instead? You look tired.
Oh, I have it away. Don't know what it is. Although your son and heir did keep me up quite a bit last night.
Maybe he's having a tooth?
Oh, 4.5 weeks? Idiot. Go shave.
Okay.
Okay, old mirror. Let's see what a little elbow grease and soap can do. Come on. We've got to do better than that. It's like looking at someone underwater. Come clean. That's better. Oh, no. That's not me. That's... who are you? Who do you want? Who? Tom!
Angie, what is it? What's wrong?
Look.
Where?
In the mirror.
What?
Can't you see?
Oh, yes, a reflection. It's not very good, sort of wavy, but...
But who is it?
Who is it? Well, you, darling, of course.
No, it's not me. Can't you see? It's her.
Her? Who's her?
The girl in the old faded photograph. The one in the trunk. What's the matter with you? Can't you recognize her?
Angie, here. Come away from that for a minute.
No, I can't. Don't you see? She's trying to say something to me.
Lie down for a while. Here, let me hold you.
Don't make me leave here. She's counting on me.
Now, just rest for a moment. You've got nothing to worry about.
All right. If you'll Just to do one thing.
What?
Look in the mirror again.
What? Well, sure. If it'll make you feel better.
What do you see?
Well, nothing but my own reflection, half-shaved, with soap sticking to my face.
I don't believe you. Let me look.
All right. What do you see? Angie, what do you see?
Nothing. But my own reflection. But a moment ago Oh, Tom, what's the matter with me? Am I going out of my mind?
What is the answer to Angie's question? The only thing one can see in a mirror is a reflection. But just supposing, you looked in a mirror and found a totally different person staring back at you. Someone who must have been dead long ago. Would your reaction have been so different from Angie Barr's? I shall return shortly with Act 2. In the quiet bedroom, Tom sits holding Angie's hand. She lies in the bed, immobile, perhaps asleep. Tom's eyes are gloomy and brooding, his gaze fixed on the mirror on the vanity, his brow crinkled with concern. Now Angie opens her eyes.
Tom?
Yes, Angie?
Forgive me. I don't know what got into me.
Neither do I. That's what worries me.
It is crazy, isn't it? I guess it was the trunk full of the baby clothes, stored away and never used. That kind of hit me. I mean, supposing anything had happened to Christopher, I'd have had the same collection in my...
Oh, Angie, stop it. Don't think that way.
Thank the Lord we don't have to. But I do understand the way that poor girl must have felt.
Honey, we don't even know if it was her baby.
Or even if she had one in the first place. Hey, look at the time. I've got to get you some dinner and get you on the train for New York.
No, I'm not going to the theater tonight.
What do you mean you're not going? You've got to. It's in your contract.
Well, the standby can go on. I'm calling in sick. I can't leave you alone up here, Angie. Not after what happened.
I'll be all right. Honest, Tom. Look, I'll prove it. I'm looking in the mirror, and what do I see? Me. That's all. And I look like something the cat dragged in.
One good reason I'm not leaving you. You can't be alone.
I'm not alone. I've got Christopher.
Well, suppose you had another wingding. Who'll take care of him?
All right. I'll get someone over here to be with me. Marge or someone. But I can't let you miss a performance because of me. Please, Tom. I'd never forgive myself.
Okay. Just so long as there's someone here with you.
Oh, isn't he a killer? Hey there, Tiger. Say hello to your Auntie Marge. What does this kid weigh?
8 pounds, 12 3/4 ounces.
Oh, you better call the Giants. They could draft him for defensive tackle.
He's not going to be a football player. Come on, Marge. Give him to me. It's his bedtime.
Oh, this man is raring to go. He's not going to sleep.
He will once we leave.
I want to take a gander at this famous mirror in the vanity.
I think maybe I don't want to be around it anymore tonight.
Oh, okay, skip it. But, as the realtor who sold you this house, I feel responsible.
Well, just because I had a sudden attack of the crazies? I don't know what got into me.
Oh, neither do I. Oh, that is a beauty. Any idea of what this thing's worth?
I didn't think about that. I just had an urge to bring it down here into the bedroom.
Of course, the mirror's pretty well shot, but you can have that replaced. I don't wonder you saw visions in it. It's like looking down a well.
It's not that bad. Just a couple of spots where the backing is worn off.
Oh, and the ripple effect. Phew. I know I'm no beauty, but I get a load of that rattled old bag that's staring back at me. Let's see what it does for you. Go on, go ahead. Sit down.
I'm, not so anxious to look in it.
You might as well. Get used to the fact that it makes everybody look like someone else, more or less. Oh,
that isn't
a pretty one.
my face I'm looking at.
Just as good as you
What's
are.
she trying to say to me?
And that it wouldn't.
Why does she reach out her arms?
Angie? Angie, what happened to you? Where'd you go?
Nothing. I'm right here.
You saw her again.
Saw who?
The woman in the mirror.
Yes, Marge. I saw her.
Now listen to me. You just thought you saw her. You couldn't have. I was right here looking into the mirror, and I didn't see anything but you.
Just the same. She was there.
But she couldn't be. I didn't see her. You say Tom didn't?
But I saw her.
If she is a real person...
I never said she was real.
You mean she's a ghost? Oh, come off it, Angie. There's no such thing.
If there isn't, it means I'm hallucinating. Either there's a ghost that lives in that mirror and is trying to tell me something, or I'm just plain crazy.
Oh, of course you aren't. But maybe, well, you know, having the kid, moving, worried about your career, you just got nervous. I wish there was some way I could help, but you've got to see your doctor for this, Angie.
I have an appointment with him tomorrow.
Good. I wish there was something I could do.
You can help me, Marge.
How?
You sold us this house.
Well, if I'd had any idea that...
I'm not blaming you. I just want to... Do you think you could arrange for me to meet the old gentleman who owned it?
Oh, honey, I never even met him myself. It was all done through lawyers.
Can I meet the lawyer so I can get around to seeing him?
Well, what do you want to see him for?
I want to ask him about this vanity, and the mirror, and a trunk with some baby clothes, and who it is in the picture I have.
Angie, you didn't have to wait up for... Oh, I'm sorry, Marge. I saw the light here in the living room. I thought it was Angie.
Oh, she just went upstairs a minute. Your son and heir was kicking up a storm.
Well, I didn't mean for you to stay so late with Angie.
Oh, I would not have left that beautiful wife of yours for anything till you got home.
Why? Did something happen?
Oh, it sure did. She thought she saw something in that mirror again.
How do you know?
Well, I was in the room as she was putting Chris down for the night, and like a fool, I wanted to have a close look at the piece of furniture. I said something about the mirror being so decrepit. Anyone would look a fright in it. But you know me, that wasn't enough hangnail psychology. I conned her into sitting down and looking at herself in it, just to show it was a plain, ordinary mirror. And before you know it, she was off on some kind of a trip.
You said she saw something in it?
Yeah, the same woman. Tom, you got to make sure that girl of yours gets to the doctor.
She has an appointment with him in the morning. I was going to babysit while she went.
No, look, I'll be glad to babysit for you, Tom. You just make sure she tells the doctor about this fantasy of hers, or whatever it is.
And this reflection in the mirror, or this woman who seems to appear, isn't anyone you know?
No, Doctor. Well, that is, in a way. I mean, she looks like me, sort of.
And also like the picture of the woman Angie found in an old trunk in the attic.
The one with all the unused baby clothes.
Yes.
What do you think it could be, Doctor?
Well, instead of that, let me tell you what I think it isn't.
What's that?
You're a relatively new patient for me, Mrs. Barr, but all the records I've received on you from Dr. Frazier, they indicate that you're a healthy, well-balanced young woman. But you are an actress, and you have just had a baby.
I don't see what that's got to do with it.
I think I do. This mysterious visitor has appeared twice. Once right after you'd found the old trunk full of baby clothes and the picture of a woman who, I must say, does look remarkably like you. Very beautiful woman, I might add.
Has to be, if she looks like Angie.
I agree. Now, Mrs. Barr, you say yourself that you immediately leaped to the conclusion that the woman in the picture was a mother who'd lost her baby.
Doesn't it seem logical?
It could also be logical that this was a woman who couldn't have the baby she wanted, or who had lost her husband before she could, or who lost her life before she could give birth, or, well, there are many possibilities. The only important thing is that, as an actress, you were sensitive enough to fantasize immediately. You dreamed you saw her. You said you were tired and sleepy at the time.
I wasn't tired when I saw her the second time.
But you just put your baby to sleep. And unconsciously, this woman was again strongly in the back of your mind. Well, I'm not going to speculate anymore. All I can tell you is that, in my opinion, you're in the pink of good health. And I'd make one simple recommendation.
What's that, Doctor?
Get rid of the old vanity, Mr. Barr. And with that, I'm sure you'll get rid of your wife's hallucinations also.
Hello?
It's Tom, Angie. You all right?
Tom, where are you? Aren't you at the theater?
Yeah, it's intermission. I was worrying about you, so I just thought I'd call. What are you doing?
I just finished feeding the baby, and I was putting him to bed.
Everything okay?
Tom, we took the vanity back up to the attic, even though I felt kind of silly about it. So what could be wrong?
I don't know.
I'm perfectly all right.
I hope. Just wish I'd gotten a nurse for the baby so there'd be someone with you.
Cheer up. She comes next Monday. I promise you I'll make out till then.
Yeah, well, hang, they're calling places. Angie, don't stay up for me.
I won't. As soon as I get Chris off, I'm going to bed myself. And stop worrying about me.
I'll try. Angie?
Yes?
I love you.
And I love you. Oh, Mother's little darling. Were you jealous because I said I loved another man? You know Mommy loves you just as much. She knows just how wonderful you are and how much you mean to her. Oh, don't cry, honey. Mommy has you safe in her arms. What's that? It sounded as though someone cried out. Shush, darling. No one will harm you. It's coming from the attic. It's her. The woman in the mirror. Oh, the poor thing. We've got to help her. We will help her, won't we? My big man. We shouldn't have locked her away, Christopher. We shouldn't. She's trying to tell us something. I can't turn away. She's asking for help. I've got to try. Where's the light? Oh, you can see her in the mirror. Her back is turned. She's searching for... Wait. She turned around. Oh, no! You can't have him! You can't have my baby!
Whatever she has seen in the mirror, Angie, clutching her child to her with one hand, has lunged forward and spun the glass towards the wall so violently that the mirror shatters into 1,000 shimmering pieces. Like a wild animal, Angie rushes headlong down the stairs from the attic to lock herself and her baby in her bedroom. I shall return shortly with Act 3. All the way home in the train, Tom Barr has had this twisting of unease below his stomach. Most of us have felt this premonition at one time or another about someone we love, this kinetic feeling that can only be explained by ESP or simple hunch. From the train, he has hurried to his car, driven to the house recklessly, calmed at the last moment by its quiet exterior as he turns into the drive, with only one light shining from the bedroom. Reassured, he parks the car and walks upstairs to the bedroom door.
Oh, Tom, I'm so glad to see you home, darling.
Oh, it's all right, Angie. Hey, you're trembling all over. What is it?
Oh, it's my fault.
What is?
It happened just after you called me. I just hung up when...
Okay, darling.
Oh, Tom, I'm so sorry. I didn't want this to happen.
What to happen?
After I hung up, I went to talk to Christopher a moment, and suddenly I heard someone, kind of far off, calling for help. I picked up the baby and went to the attic door to listen, because it didn't seem like it was coming from outside. When I opened the attic door, it was louder.
Are you crazy? You thought someone was inside the house, and you... Who did you think it was?
I didn't have to think. I knew. It was her.
Oh, no.
I wasn't afraid then. I was only sorry for her. I mean, her voice was so sad and desperate. So I went up to the attic.
For heaven's sake, why?
I don't know, darling. I can't explain it. I could hear the voice, and it was echoey and strange. And sometimes I felt as if it was even coming from inside me. But I had to go. I had to respond to her call for help.
You must have been out of your mind, carrying the baby.
I couldn't leave him alone. And I never thought, I never dreamed what could happen. Even after I saw her,
You saw her? Where?
In the mirror. When I turned on the attic light. It was like looking through a window into someone else's house. Only it wasn't. It was this house, our bedrooms, as though I was the one in the mirror and looking through from where the vanity was.
Darling Angie, don't try to go through it now.
She was coming through the door, just as you did now, and as if she'd been searching the house. She was crying out for someone to help her find her child. I wanted to help, only suddenly...
Suddenly what?
She saw me with the baby in my arms, and she rushed towards me, getting bigger and bigger, till I knew she was going to burst right through the frame, and I thought, she's going to take my baby. And I took the mirror, and I turned it swivel to make the glass face the wall, and I guess there wasn't room, so it smashed, and the mirror flew everywhere.
Hush, Angie, it's all right. I'm here now.
What are we going to do?
Well, we'll talk about that tomorrow. One thing for sure, we are going to get out of this house.
I don't think I'll ever feel safe again, Tom, unless whoever she is finds her lost baby. Tom?
Oh, Angie.
What are you doing?
Oh, indulging in some emotional therapy, I guess. Anyway, since we'll have to sell a house, I've got to fix up this wall I broke through to the fireplace.
I don't want to move, Tom. This is our house. Why should we be chased out of it?
I should think you could answer that easier than me, Angie.
I can't help what I saw last night, what I heard.
I didn't say you could.
I'm not going to be driven out of my house. I won't let it happen. This is a problem that's got to be solved right here.
Oh, by the way, Marge called.
What does she want?
Oh, something about McChesney Keever, the old boy who owned the house before we bought it. She said he was anxious to talk to us. Well, to you. Did you ask her to contact him?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Because he's my only hope to establish that there really is a ghost in this house, and perhaps give us a clue how she can be exorcised.
Angie, Tom, this is Mr. Keever.
How kind of you to come.
Mr. Keever?
Under the circumstances, there was little else I could do.
Look, why don't I leave you three together, huh? And go up and spend some time with Christopher?
Would you, Marge? You're a lifesaver.
Oh, don't ask to see my badge. I failed Girl Scouts.
Won't you sit down, Mr. Keever?
No, I think perhaps I'd rather stand. See, you're breaking through that wall there.
Yeah, I thought there had to be a fireplace behind there.
Oh, no, please don't apologize. Any apologies in this room must come from me. You're perfectly right, of course. There is a fireplace. But you haven't opened it all the way yet.
Well, matter of fact, having satisfied myself my guess was right, I've been considering closing it up again.
Ah, I see. Well, we shall leave that decision until I finish my confession.
Confession?
Whether the facts are proven true or not. From what Mrs. James has told me, since the discovery of the old vanity, you've been plagued by a series of inexplicable events. I'm ashamed to say I realize that I have visited upon you a legacy of guilt.
I do wish you would sit down, Mr. Keever.
In due time, my dear. I'll try to make this as brief as possible. It's painful to me. My father was H. Haverford Keever, a moving spirit in these parts. I was born, I always thought, in this house in 1895. I'm 84.
Can I get you something to drink, sir? Some tea, some water?
No, let me finish. My father was something of a philanderer. Dear me, that sounds impossibly old-fashioned. But all those years ago, it was neither simple nor funny. Fortunately, he was rich. So, having got a certain young woman in trouble, when it became no longer possible to conceal her problem, he arranged to have her, what shall I say, domiciled nearby in his summer house. This house.
That was the lovely young woman in the picture I found?
By no means. That picture was of the woman I grew up believing was my mother.
But she wasn't?
Bear with me. Alexandra, for that was my father's wife's name, was pregnant at the same time as my father's mistress. But when the moment came for both of them to deliver, the mistress delivered first, the wife second, with only one difference. The first baby was alive and healthy. The second lost not only its own life, but the mother's as well.
I don't understand which was which.
That was the legacy of guilt. You see, I grew up believing that my mother died in childbirth, and that the woman my father married, after a decent interval, was my foster mother.
But she was actually your real mother?
Yes.
But how? What happened to the baby who was stillborn?
I have only my father's word for that. I've never wanted to test if it really was the truth. It didn't seem to matter anymore.
What do you mean, your father's word?
After his death, when the estate was finally settled, I was handed a letter that my father had left for me. I destroyed it after I read it, but I remember very clearly how it began. My dear and only son, I have lived with a lie all my life. And even now, confession comes hard to me. I bear a terrible guilt that I was responsible for destroying your relationship with your mother. There is no way I can make amends. This is only a selfish attempt to clear my own soul.
I don't understand.
I grew up believing that I had been responsible for my mother's death. And I resented my father's wife for pretending to be my mother, not knowing that she really was. Do you understand now?
You were substituted for the child that died.
Correct.
But what happened to the dead baby?
It was too late for it to become a matter of record. It had to be disposed of.
How?
I must admit that after reading my father's letter, I put it out of my mind. You see, it didn't matter anymore. I wasn't even sure if I believed any of it. Of course, there was always an easy way to prove it, but somehow it didn't seem worth the effort.
What was it, sir?
Life is so frequently more bizarre and unreal than any story. See, there's a problem in opposing fireplaces. If one flue draws better than the other, a room can quickly be filled by smoke. At the time I was born, my father was in the process of walling up one of the fireplaces in this room. There was a small and tiny corpse to be disposed of. Where better than a hearth that was about to cease to exist also?
Oh, murder.
No. Not that.
I just meant that...
Now that it's all out in the open, why don't we make sure?
No, let me. It won't take a moment to knock out the rest of the bricks.
So that's why she haunts this house. She's looking for her lost baby.
I can't answer that, my dear. But it seemed to me imperative that you know the whole story. I would never have sold you the house if I'd known it was haunted.
Then you believe with me it is?
Yesterday I would have scoffed at that. Today I...
Huh. Oh, my Lord.
What is it?
Look for yourselves.
Huh? A skeleton.
It's so tiny.
But big enough to bring the truth to light at last.
Okay?
I have it. Put it down.
All right. Now you drop your end first. That's it. There.
Back where it belongs.
Oh, I don't know how you talk me into these things. Why would you want the vanity back down here?
I just said it. Because it's where it belongs.
Without a mirror?
We'll replace that. Oh, that poor old man.
Huh?
Mr. Keever.
Oh, yeah.
I'll never forget his face when he went to touch that little skeleton, and it just powdered to dust.
It was almost as if his whole life ended in that moment. Angie, what are you doing?
Looking in the one piece of the old mirror that's left. You know what it really shows?
What?
Me, happy, fulfilled, with my own baby to hold in my arms any time I reach for him. Just as that poor ghost I saw, or dreamed I saw, has hers to comfort her in eternity. We can forget the past. All we have to look forward to is what life is all about. The future.
So the ghost is laid to rest, a tiny ghost, never even born, but one who has perhaps found immortality in the arms of a mother who gave her own life to bear him. The past is buried, the legacy of guilt wiped out, and Tom and Angie Barr can once again look ahead to their marriage promise with as much hope as anyone else can, to live happily ever afterwards. We didn't have any flashes of lightning or driving rain, but it was a ghost story all the same. A true ghost story. Because if you don't believe in spirits and beasties and all those other things that are accused of haunting our waking dreams, how do you account for what Angie saw in that fateful mirror? One parting thought: how safe will you feel the next time you look in yours? Our cast included Roberta Maxwell, Russell Horton, and Bryna Rayburn. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. I hope you're ready for a journey into the bizarre, into the very, very strange, for that's where we're going. A round-trip journey, of course, but one we promise you won't forget. Sarah and David Hughes have just finished dinner and have taken their coffee out to the patio, where dusk is coming in behind a lovely sunset, and the world seems bathed in serenity. But beware of peaceful places at peaceful times. Things change. Sometimes suddenly.
David?
You know, I was almost asleep.
David, what is that up there?
What's what? Up where?
Up there, in the sky, those funny lights.
Well, it's a jet, I guess. We'll be hearing it in a few seconds.
A jet making a circle of light? And they don't come in from that direction. Or that fast either. David, it looks as if it's heading straight for us.
Nonsense. Of course it isn't heading straight for us.
David! A flying saucer.
Oh, come off it, Sarah.
An unidentified flying object. We actually saw it.
Sarah, it was nothing of the sort. It was simply... Well, it was...
Can you identify it?
Well, no, not offhand.
An unidentified flying object. David, we've made a sighting.
Our mystery drama, The Sighting, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Fielden Farrington and stars Kim Hunter. UFO sightings, although they are remarkable, are not uncommon. There have been, who's to say, thousands of them, maybe tens of thousands, if you include those that have gone unreported. Of course, some people poo-poo them as optical illusions or weather balloons or light reflections on clouds or even just plain imagination. But others, many others, take them quite seriously and would like very much to know what and why and possibly even who they are. Sarah and David have certainly seen something, though they don't agree about what it was.
You know the trouble with you, honey. You let your imagination run away with you. You see a funny light in the sky and wham, it's a flying saucer.
Well, you can't say it wasn't a flying saucer. You don't know what it was any more than I do.
But, Sarah, when you can't explain something a little out of the ordinary, you don't
pounce on the most unlikely explanation you can find and close your mind to all the others?
Look who's talking about closed minds.
Oh, okay. Maybe I'm a little bit conservative. Bankers get that way, I'm told.
And man, are you ever a banker.
Well, don't knock it. It buys a lot of goodies.
No contest. I think I'll go next door and ask Bea and Harry if they saw it. Want to come along?
So what? Oh, yeah, the thing. Sarah, I really wish you wouldn't do that.
Why not, for heaven's sake?
Well, I'd just as soon it didn't get around. I mean, that we saw... Well, the first vice president of a bank doesn't see flying saucers. He just doesn't, Sarah.
Okay. The first vice president didn't see it. He's as blind as a bat.
Yeah.
But his wife saw it.
Sarah,
Look...
I don't want you to talk about it.
How do we know what they are? How do we know what they're doing here? What their purpose is? How can we be sure that they don't mean us some kind of harm, David? I think we ought to report it.
No. You're not to say a word about this to anyone. Look, honey, old man Ellsworth is talking about retiring again, and this time J.D. thinks he means it. And if he does go, J.D. will almost certainly move up to chairman of the board, and that leaves the presidency open. I'm the first vice president. But can't you see, Sarah?
Look, I think that's wonderful, David. You know I do, but I can't see what it has to do with...
Well, I just told you. I'll have to ask you to take my word for it. I want you to promise not to say a word about this thing we saw, and not to anybody.
Anybody home? Oh, hi, Bea. You got any shopping to do this morning?
I don't think so, no. How about a cup of coffee?
Okay. They're supposed to have some fresh whiting at Avery's today. Doesn't David have a big thing about whiting?
Yes, David has a big thing about whiting, but he's more likely to get cold stew and leftover parsnips.
Oh?
Garnished with arsenic.
Bad one, huh?
Honestly, Bea, you ought to thank your lucky stars you're not married to a banker.
Oh, I don't know. You ever try living with a man who was in wholesale pharmaceuticals? Give him whiting. That's my advice. He can't eat and quarrel at the same time. Did you and David see that thing come over last night?
Come over?
Fly over, you know. Looked like a flying saucer to me. But Harry said it was a jet with some fancy new kind of lights or something. I never heard a jet sound like that.
Oh, no, I guess we must have missed it. Why, doesn't Harry believe in flying saucers?
Wouldn't believe in one if it landed smack on top of him. We still playing bridge tonight?
As far as I know, at your house. Want me to bring anything?
Money. It's our turn to win. You want me to get some whiting for you if Avers has it?
Oh, would you mind? I'm not much in the mood.
Sure, I'll bring it over later. I'll tell you one thing. I don't ever want to fly in a jet that sounds the way that thing last night sounded.
Good morning, David.
Oh, morning, J.D.
You busy right now?
Nothing top priority, no.
Well, come on into my office. I've got some news for you.
Sure thing.
You, read this thing this morning?
Oh, Times. I glanced through it before I left the house.
A couple of people out your way claim they saw a flying saucer.
Oh, I read that, yes. One of the fellows belongs to my club, as a matter of fact. I wouldn't want to be in his shoes next time he goes into that locker room.
You know, I don't understand people. I just can't figure them out. Fellow sees something up there he never saw before, and he goes running around like a chicken with its head off, yelling, "Flying saucer!" What do you think he is, some kind of aeronautics expert or something? Sit down, David.
Thanks.
What would you say if I told you old Ellsworth finally made up his mind?
Well, I'd say congratulations, J.D.
He's retiring the end of the year. Made up his mind yesterday afternoon, apparently. Plans to announce it sometime later today.
Congratulations, J.D.
Oh, no. It's premature, my boy, premature. Board has to vote on the new chairman. There's no guarantee they'll pick me. I can be pretty crusty sometimes, you know. Made some enemies.
That's your year's salary.
Oh, yeah. Bankers don't gamble now. Had to vote on the new president, too, of course, but, you've got me in there lobbying for you.
Thanks, J.D.
Ah, nonsense. Best man for the job. Would be anyway if he Didn't sit around loafing all day in the boss's office.
Well, I guess I'd better get back to work.
I guess you had. And, David.
Yes, Eddie.
Try not to see any flying saucers. Wouldn't help a bit.
Sarah Hughes. Sarah, I know you're in here. There's nothing to be afraid of. I must speak to you.
How did you do that?
Do what, Sarah?
When you talk, your lips don't move. Well, anyway, I couldn't see them move. It sounded as if you were talking through that little black box strapped on your chest.
Yes, you are quite right. You see, we don't have any vocal equipment.
We? Who's we?
We come from a very long way off.
Like Mars?
No, much farther. Another galaxy altogether.
I told David. I told him.
Yes, we sensed that you were sympathetic.
Then what do you use? Mental telepathy?
That's what you would call it, yes.
And the box?
I think into the box, you might say. It comes out English. Other languages, too, of course, depending upon the setting. I'm glad you are not frightened.
If I were, I wouldn't let you know. Look, where you come from, do you just walk into strangers' houses?
I am very sorry, but I had to speak to you. It's really quite urgent.
About what?
We need your help.
To do what? Take over the earth?
You mustn't say that. You mustn't think it. We're on a friendly mission. My colleagues and I, we're what you might call a scouting party. We must know more about your planet before we can be sure that it is safe to... We want to help you.
Well, we're doing all right.
Are you? Really, Sarah?
What's your name? You keep using mine. Don't you think I should know yours?
I have no... We do not use names in the sense you mean. I have a designation, of course, but there is no way to convey it to you.
It's pretty weird. How did you find out what my name is?
We were able to pick it up. We get very dim readings from your minds. Actually, yours is the clearest we've been able to pick up so far. We need someone to cooperate with us so that we can learn more.
And that's what you want me to do?
Yes, Sarah, it is.
Well, come back tomorrow.
I don't understand.
I'll have to talk to my husband about
it. That is exactly what you must not do. Do you understand me? You must not consult your husband. You're not to tell him even that you have spoken with me. I want you to understand that very clearly. He is not to know that we have contacted you.
Then you'd better just go back onto your flying saucer and fly away. I'm not sure I want to speak to you again.
You will, though, Sarah. You will.
You don't believe me, do you?
Of course I believe you, honey. Have I ever accused you of lying to me?
All the same, you don't believe me.
What did he look like, this man you saw?
Well, he wasn't green, if that's what you mean. He didn't have tentacles or flippers or any of that. His hair was kind of coppery and funny. More like chicken down than hair. I didn't notice the color of his eyes. His face seemed all right, except that his ears were flat against his head. He was tall and too skinny to look healthy. By our standards, that is.
Mm-hmm. How was he dressed?
Ordinary. Except for a box he had sort of taped onto his chest. Like brown slacks and a kind of yellow shirt, open at the throat. But the clothes didn't look right on him. You don't believe one word of this, do you?
Now, Sarah, I haven't said I don't believe you. All I'm saying is that you're tired and overwrought.
And seeing things. Look, I'm not sure I want to play bridge tonight. Sit there all evening being humored. And, well, I'm not at all sure I want to do it.
Look, I'll tell you what. You trot upstairs and take a little rest. Now, wait, then, just let me finish. You are tired. You are overwrought. You don't deny that, do you?
Well...
So why shouldn't you take a little rest? Now, what's wrong with that? And when you get up, if you don't feel like playing bridge, we won't play bridge, okay? Doesn't that sound fair enough?
Well, all right.
Fine. Right now. Close the bedroom door and see if you can't actually get a little sleep. Will you do that for me?
Okay. But if I should go to sleep, don't let me sleep long, will you? And David.
Yes?
I did see that man and talk to him. I really did.
The whole thing an hallucination? Let's not be too sure it wasn't just because we heard it ourselves. After all, we were primarily interested in what Sarah heard, weren't we? Or thought she heard. Let's not rule out the possibility that we were hallucinating along with her. Perhaps we'll learn the truth about that when I return shortly with Act 2. David and Sarah have spent the evening playing bridge with Bea and Harry Vincent. But their minds haven't been on the game. Sarah's is more on the events of the day just ending. How often do you speak with a man from outer space? Now the game and the evening have finally come to an end.
David, my friend, we ought to do this more often.
Yeah.
You owe us, now you can check my arithmetic if you want to. You owe us $3.76.
With the cards you two held, how could you lose?
Oh, come on, don't grouse, David. About 10 more nights like this, and maybe we could get even.
Oh, it was all my fault. I told you I didn't feel like playing bridge tonight, Dave.
Oh, forget it. You were no worse than I was.
Well, after all, it's only a game.
Yeah, said he, tucking away his winnings. I wonder if I drank $3.76 worth of beer.
Well, there's more out in the kitchen. Come on out. Maybe you can break even.
Now, what are those two cooking up?
Oh, I don't know.
Is the fight still going on? With you and David, I mean? Left over from last night. You haven't been acting like yourselves at all tonight, either of you.
Oh, it's one of those things. I guess it happens to everybody. David, don't you think we ought to go now? You have to work tomorrow.
Okay, honey. He's a good man, you're David. You don't have to worry about that.
David?
Hmm?
What did Harry mean when we were leaving? Who's a good man?
Oh, honey, turn the light off, will you? I'm dead.
It's something to do with me, isn't it?
Okay, you'll have to know anyway. I asked Harry for the name of a good psychiatrist.
A psychiatrist?
Yes, earlier. I called the doctor before we left, too. Told him it was an emergency. I got an appointment for you for tomorrow morning. But it is an emergency. You don't realize how... I knew you were going to be angry. Sarah?
I'm not angry. If he's any good, maybe he'll be able to convince you I'm not seeing things.
Sarah, I've got to get to the office on time this morning, today of all days, but I'll meet you at the doctor's office. Now, your appointment is for 11 o'clock. You won't forget it, will you?
Look, you don't have to be there if you have a busy day. I can handle it alone.
No, nothing of the sort. And after the session, we'll have some lunch. Someplace fancy, huh? It'll be all right, Sarah. You'll see.
it's you again.
Sarah, I must speak to you.
Do you know that you may very well be nothing but a figment of my imagination?
I think that you are tired. Did you sleep well last night?
What do you think? And wouldn't a figment of my imagination at least move his lips a little when he talks?
I can see that you are very sleepy. Oh, yes, very sleepy.
Well, I didn't ask you in.
You are almost too sleepy to stand, aren't you? Here. Why don't you sit here? You'll be much more comfortable.
Well...
That's better, isn't it? You're able to relax now. Relax and rest. Relax and rest. Float and sleep. You are asleep now, aren't you? Yes. Fast asleep. You will do as I tell you.
Yes, I will do as you tell me.
Good. Pinch your arm, Sarah. With your right hand, pinch your left arm. No, harder than that. You can feel nothing. You feel no pain.
No pain.
Very well. I am going to perform a minor surgical operation now. You will feel no pain, of course. A simple incision at the base of the skull. There will be no bleeding. Now, what I am inserting, Sarah, is a very small device which your body will in no way reject. It is in every way compatible. By means of this device, it is better you know this, Sarah, although you will not be aware of it later. Through this device, we shall be able to read your thoughts and participate in them, guide them. This will be possible at great distances, light years, actually. You are now sutured, what you would call sutured. There is no wound, no scar. You felt no pain, did you, Sarah?
No pain.
And yet your own doctors would find this type of surgery very difficult, if indeed at all possible to perform. Now, do you know what I have just done?
Yes.
Tell me.
You've planted a device at the base of my skull so that you can read my thoughts and guide them.
Yes. You must listen carefully to what I tell you now. Do you understand, Sarah?
I must listen carefully.
You will emerge from your hypnotic state when you hear the sound of my vehicle leaving. Is that clear?
Yes. When I hear your spaceship fly away.
You will not remember having seen me today at all. Please repeat that for me.
I will not remember having seen you at all today.
And all you will remember about my visit yesterday is that you made it up as a joke. It did not really happen.
I didn't see you yesterday. It was a joke I made up.
Very well. When I leave the room, you will fall into a deep sleep. When you hear our vehicle moving away, you will awaken feeling as though you have a long, healing night's rest. Is all that clear?
It's all clear.
You busy, Dave?
Harry! No, come on in. Aren't you a little out of your territory?
Well, yeah, I am. I knocked off and came over here because, Bea called me a few minutes ago to say she's seen the damn thing, too.
Seen what?
The saucer, the flying saucer.
Oh, Bea saw it?
Yeah, says she did. Says it was hovering there right over your backyard with a door open, like practically the whole side of a ship, she said. And a kind of stairway coming right down onto your lawn.
Oh, come on, not Bea, too. What are they trying to do to us?
Well, to tell you the truth, Dave, I don't think Bea was putting it on. She can't lie worth a nickel, and she sounded scared, really scared. And, anyway, that's not all.
For Pete's sake.
She'd started out shopping, see, and forgot to take a list with her, so that's why she went back. I mean, that's how she happened to see the thing in the first place.
All right.
So, she went back in the house and was watching through the window, and I swear, Dave, this is what she said. A tall, skinny man came walking out of your back door and went up the stairway and into the saucer. Then it made that crazy whooshing noise like we heard the other night. I did hear that, Dave. I honestly did. And it didn't really sound much like a jet. Well, anyway, it made that noise and took off. Like 1,000 miles a minute, Bea says.
You think it's true?
Well, unless Bea's blown her mind, too. She said she wanted to go right over to your place and see if Sarah was all right, but she was afraid to. Yeah, I think it might be true, Dave. I think, anyway, we ought to go out there and see. Oh, there's Bea. She must have been waiting at our front door.
Oh, I thought you'd never get here, you
Is
two.
Sarah all right, Bea?
I haven't seen her. I can't help it. I was scared. You didn't see that awful-looking thing just hanging up there over your backyard, or the weirdo that came out of your house. Can we go in now? I don't mind as long as I'm with you two.
Yeah, okay.
I don't suppose one of them's still in there. I mean, since the thing took off. It wouldn't go away and leave one of them behind, would it?
I'm still not ready to believe
You'd
it.
believe it if you'd seen it.
Sarah?
Yes, David? Oh, I thought you were going to meet me at the doctor's office. Well, what's this, a delegation?
Are you all right, Sarah?
Why wouldn't I be all right?
Sarah, did anything happen this morning?
Not a thing. Not unless you count me falling asleep, sitting bolt upright in a straight kitchen chair. I really must have been dead on my feet.
The man from the flying saucer didn't show up?
Oh, come on. Don't you think we've had about enough of that nonsense?
Nonsense.
Sarah, I saw him. I saw him come walking right out your back door, plain as day, and get into his saucer and go. I saw that, Sarah. I really did.
Oh, please, let's not anymore. So I made up a silly story. Now, I'm sorry I did. I never dreamed you'd all take me so seriously.
Now, wait a minute. There's something wrong here. You were taking it seriously enough last night. Now, don't try to tell me you weren't.
It was just a joke, David.
Joke?
I wish you could all see yourselves. You look as if you'd just come in from a funeral or something.
Sarah, if it was just a joke, why didn't you say so when I told you about the psychiatrist?
Oh, I'm all mixed up. I swear I saw a tall, skinny man with funny hair get into a flying saucer and fly away. If it was just a joke you made up, Sarah, maybe I'm the one who needs a psychiatrist, because I saw that. I know I did.
All right. Sarah's going to keep her appointment, aren't you, Sarah?
I don't see any point, David. You'd just be throwing your money away.
Well, still, if I ask you to, you will, won't you?
Well, if you want me to, why not? I can't see what good it's going to do, but I guess it can't do any harm.
No, Sarah.
What?
What? I didn't say anything.
You are not to see the psychiatrist. Is that clear, Sarah? You will not see the psychiatrist.
Who said that?
What? Nobody said anything.
Didn't you hear it? Bea.
I didn't hear anything.
You will do as you are told. You will refuse to see the psychiatrist.
Who are you?
Sarah.
I can cause you pain, Sarah. I can cause you great pain.
David, what is it? Somebody keeps... Don't you hear that voice?
I don't hear anything, Sarah.
I do not want to cause you pain, Sarah, but I will if I must. You are not to see the psychiatrist.
Come on. We better go, honey. The appointment's for 11 o'clock.
All right, I'm coming.
I'm sorry, Sarah. Truly, I am.
David. David! David, make it stop!
Sarah.
Make it stop!
I hope you didn't feel the pain along with Sarah. It would have convinced you, of course, as I'm sure it has convinced the people in our story, that the man from outer space is real and not altogether friendly. If there is any doubt lingering in your mind, however, I believe it will be dispelled when I return shortly with Act 3. The willingness of the open mind to accept the new and seemingly miraculous, at least as an hypothesis, has always faced opposition from the less flexible mind, which finds the status quo easier to live with. David, however, as well as Bea and Harry, has had a convincing demonstration that the new is only the as yet unknown. Bea and Harry are waiting in Dr. Freuling's reception room. David has taken Sarah into the doctor's office.
Now, just lie down here and rest. And help me with her, will you, Mr. Hughes?
Please, make it stop.
Sarah, honey, do what the doctor says. Now, lie down and try to take it easy. And just do as the doctor says. She seems to be in a great deal of pain, Doctor.
Oh, she is in pain. There's no doubt whatever about that. What causes the pain, this is what we must learn first of all.
Well, can't you give her something?
I think best not to do that until I have learned what has happened to her.
Sarah, refuse to speak with this doctor, this psychiatrist. Tell him only what you have been ordered to say. You have seen no man from a flying saucer. It was only a silly joke. Leave his office. Nobody can force you to stay. And go home. Do only this and there will be no more pain.
You are asleep now, Sarah. You are in a deep, restful sleep. You are resting in a quiet, lovely place where there is no pain. No pain, only rest.
You will not sleep. You are uncomfortable. There's no severe pain now, but you know there will be if you listen to this man.
Now, Sarah, I want you to tell me exactly what happened this morning before David came back from his office.
I can't, Dr. Freuling.
Uh-huh. Well, it is not yet. We try again.
Dr. Freuling, if it's going to keep on like this, I think we'd better just quit.
Stop it! Stop it! Stop it!
We are on the right track. He was there this morning. She told me that much before he got through to her again. We are going to win, Mr. Hughes.
Well, win or lose, what's going to be left of Sarah?
All of her, Mr. Hughes. More than there is of her now. Sarah, shall we try again?
I can't, Dr. Freuling. You won't let me. You don't know how it hurts.
It's no good, Sarah. You know it is no good.
Now, try to relax and clear your mind of everything but what I say to you.
I'll try.
Sarah, what did the man do when he came to see you this morning?
He said he asked me... Oh, no! No. He asked me to help him. Stop it! Stop it, please!
Sarah, you are under my control, not his. The pain will never stop until you do as I say. You must do as I tell you.
Bear it, Sarah. You can bear it if you try. Help me, and it will all be finished sooner than you think. How did he want you to help him?
It will be worth. The pain will be worth.
He wanted me to... He wanted me to make it stop.
He wanted you to what?
Beat his contact. He couldn't. Oh, God. He said he couldn't breathe. I thought I was...
Oh, pain can't kill, Sarah. What if I decide to kill you?
I don't care.
Enough. Dr. Freiling, that's enough.
You were to what, Sarah? What did he want you to do?
He put a thing in my head, and he knows what I think, and he can... No! He can hurt me with it. Oh,
Stranger. Doctor, is
Wait. Her pulse is strong. That's good.
Is she...
She will be all right. He cannot hurt her while she is unconscious. He put a thing into her head. Is that what she said? Is that what you heard her say?
Yes. Isn't there something you can do?
Miss Jameson, I want an ambulance at once. Emergency entrance, Physicians Hospital. Get Dr. Carter for me. Tell him Physicians Hospital at once. It was good of you to come, Dr. Carter.
Yes. What have we got?
A device has been implanted in a young lady's skull, I believe. I cannot be certain.
Implanted by whom? How long ago?
Only this morning, as I believe it. By whom? Now, it's a long story, and the patient is in intermittent pain.
All right. We'll have to have x-rays.
I have already made x-rays. They are here.
All right. Have you read them? Have you found anything?
I am a psychiatrist. I think there is something, but I do not wish to prejudice your judgment.
Oh, very well. Well, is everything clear here? It's all right. Nothing here. And not... Wait a minute. That little particle. Is that what you mean?
How does it look to you?
It's like a pinhead. Oh, yes. It's foreign, all right. Must be. But implanted? It's very small.
Large enough. I am afraid for my patient's reason. Perhaps her life. I do not know.
I have to see her before you operate, Dr. Carter.
Oh, she's already been sedated.
Believe me, Dr. Carter, it's imperative.
Well, if you feel so strongly about it.
Sarah?
Oh, is that you, David?
Yes. Feel better now?
Oh, yes, I feel fine. Just sleepy. He isn't bothering me right now. I mean, there isn't any pain.
Do you think you could contact him, Sarah?
Oh, I expect he's around. Why?
I want to get a message to him.
What message? David, I don't want you to...
No. I just want to talk to him, Sarah. I just want to meet him. Is he listening now?
Oh, I can't tell, but I imagine he is. David, you mustn't...
I just want him to meet me and talk to me. It's as important to him as it is to me. I'll go back to the house. There's nothing I can do here anyway. I'll go back to the house and meet him there. I have something important to tell him. Important to him.
Well, if he's listening, you could just tell him now.
No, not now. I'll meet him at our house as soon as I can get there.
I'm afraid, David. You sound as though...
Just give me a kiss, Sarah. I love you.
I have taken more trouble than you realize, Mr. Hughes, to meet you here. What is it you wish to tell me?
I have a proposition for you.
I am willing to listen for a short time, though. The surgery is about to begin.
You aren't going to interfere, are you?
Your wife is a danger to us. I am sure you can understand that. We're reluctant to take a life, of course, but our mission is of greater importance.
Listen. Now, just listen. Why does it have to be Sarah? What's the matter with me?
What do you mean?
I mean, put your gadget, whatever it is, in me. Why couldn't you do that? I'd cooperate, don't you see? You wouldn't have any of this resistance you get from Sarah.
Why? Why would you turn against your own people to help us? Aliens, as you call us. Why would you be willing to do that?
Willing? I'd be doing it to save Sarah's life. Wouldn't you do as much for your wife?
We do not have wives.
Oh. Well, my wife is very dear to me. There's nothing, I guess, that I wouldn't do for her. So you see...
Be quiet.
What?
Please, do not speak. I am in communication with my colleagues.
Oh. Tell them...
Be quiet.
Oh, God, please.
All right.
You'll do it?
No. We have decided against using you.
Huh?
We have learned a great deal from you. This love is your word. This is an unfamiliar factor. This love must be taken into consideration. We are not sure that anyone so afflicted would be sufficiently stable for our purposes.
And what about Sarah?
It is a risk to release her, of course, for we cannot erase her memory, but we have taken greater risks.
Then you won't interfere with the operation?
Not interfere. No, not the way you mean. We shall help. Your surgeon will need our help.
Oh, thank God. How is she, Doctor?
Fine. I have never seen anything like it. Would you ask her yourself?
Sarah?
Oh, David, I feel so much better. I feel perfectly well, as if nothing ever happened.
Thank God for that.
I have never seen such surgery. A motion picture at fast speed. His hands moved so quickly, I would never have believed it.
Did you see him? The man from the saucer?
Yes, honey. He's real. You'll be glad to know that.
Oh, I do. Believe me, I know.
Is she really all right, Dr. Furley?
Quite, yes. She is free now.
Yes, I'm free. But I don't think they've finished. They're too strong. They're too vulnerable. I'm safe, yes, for the time being at least, but I don't know if the world will ever be really safe again.
Maybe it will. They've discovered a new factor. Maybe it's stronger than they are.
Well, how strong is love? The new factor on this old earth of ours. Stronger than hatred? I like to think so. Hatred makes the headlines, I know, but love, in its unassuming way, has been making the world go round for a good many years now. I'll be back shortly. David is president of his bank now, and doing a very good job of it, too. He and Sarah are even happier, have an even more secure marriage than before their adventure. The near loss of something dear often underscores the dearness of it. Well, whether you come by UFO or some more conventional method of travel, be here to join us for our next chilling story. Our cast included Kim Hunter, Nat Polan, Ralph Bell, Joe Silver, and Robert Dryden. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams. The CBS Radio Mystery Theater presents... Come in. Welcome. I'm E.G. Marshall. Welcome to the sounds of suspense. To the fear you can hear. Welcome to the world of nightmarish probability, where the icy fear of the unknown can lead one down strange and terrifying paths. In our story, Alex Harper confronts the impossible, and the encounter produces a devastating effect. Our mystery drama, The Edge of Death, was written especially for the Mystery Theater by Saul Panitz and stars Patrick O'Neill. Meet Alex Harper, farmer. Right now his left arm is in a sling, heavily bandaged to protect the more than 20 stitches. Just a small accident on his tractor. First time in his 28 years as a farmer that he'd ever suffered more than a slight sprain or a minor bruise. It is a late August morning, an unreal sky, so blue it almost hurts the eyes to look at it. Even now, there is a promise that the cool dampness of the morning will soon yield to the stifling heat of the prairie sun.
No matter what you say, I still don't think I ought to leave you alone.
Who said I'm alone? You hear what Judy said, huh, Ace?
Can't you be serious for a second?
Only because I think you should go. Now, we've been over this a dozen times.
If something was to happen, I'd never forgive myself.
Oh, what if the sky fell down, Chicken Little?
Well, your arm, it hurts, doesn't it?
Did I say so?
Oh, whenever you get this way sarcastic, you're covering up. You can't fool me. Take another pill.
Another one and I'll be going around like a zombie.
Oh, and I'll ask Doc Stevenson if he can give you something else.
But I don't want something else. Now, you go on, get your annual checkup, do a little shopping if you like.
But I still think I ought to be here. After last night.
Oh, boy, last night again.
I am not a hysterical woman.
I didn't say you were.
Well, you thought so.
Well, you get me up out of a sound sleep and insist that there are lights and noises.
I know, I heard something last night. It wasn't a rabbit or a deer. There was a flashing light. I'm not an idiot, and I haven't got that good imagination to make it all up. And now I'll go.
Ace, where are you? Come on, boy. Now, I'm in no mood to play games. All right, I'm going back to the house. Huh? Oh, behind the barn, eh? What you got cornered, a 10-foot rabbit or... Oh, there you are now. Hey, you did find something. I'm coming, Ace. All right, now bring it to me. Come on, boy, give it here. Give it here, that's it. Good dog. Hey, let's see what you discovered. A bag. Looks just like Doc Stevenson's bag, only it couldn't be his. This one's shiny new. Feels funny. It's not leather. It doesn't feel like vinyl either. How the deuce can anyone possibly use this? No lock, no zipper, no buckle. No way to open this case. It's a gag. I'll bet that some of those college kids from town, sure, that's it. Judy did hear some sounds last night. The kids. And they left this stupid bag. Of course, Ace. Now, you'll get full credit. Yes, sir, boy. I'll tell Judy you found it. All right, come on. Let's go back to the house. Come on.
That's you, Alex?
Doc, hello.
How's the arm?
Not bad. Now, when are you going to take the stitches out?
One of these days. Now, don't rush it. That's a mighty bad tear.
Will you level with me?
Shoot.
Will the arm be as good as new?
Well, not really. Some of the muscles were torn. Oh, you'll have movement, but there will be limitations. You were lucky that it's the left and not the right.
Yeah, lucky.
And you'll end up with a beautiful scar.
Say, Doc, is Judy still there?
She left about 30 minutes ago.
Did she check out okay?
Well, there are some tests that will take a few days.
But from what you could see.
Well, that's the real reason I called, Alex.
There is something?
There is.
Well, not serious.
Yes and no.
Oh, what the devil does that mean?
Well, it's your heart. And before you jump to conclusions, listen. If she watches herself, obeys a special diet, there's no reason why she shouldn't live a normal span of life.
Did you tell her?
Well, only that it's a rather common condition that can be controlled. She's not alarmed, and she needn't be. Now, I mean this, Alex. I've seen patients like her do almost everything they used to do and go on and on.
Almost. Oh, Doc, last time you dropped by, let's see, that must have been at least a week ago.
No more like 10 days.
By any chance, did you leave something out here? You aren't missing one of your black bags.
I've only got one bag. What are you talking about?
Nothing. Doc, I think I hear Judy. Yeah, it is. Hey, she's driving kind of funny. I better hang up, Doc.
Oh, Alex. Oh,
easy now. Whatever it is, you're home.
I'm so frightened.
Sure.
Just a few miles past the Clearwood Sanitarium. You know the big curve through the woods?
Yeah.
I slowed down.
Wouldn't you rather talk about it a little later? You're shaking all over. Now, come on inside, Judy. I'll make some tea. Come on.
Yes, like that. Inside. With the walls around me. Oh, Alex.
Yes?
We're in danger out.
Oh, now, Judy.
I saw him. I tell you, I saw him.
Who?
Death. Alex. I saw death.
You feel better now?
Yes. Look, I can hold my hands out and they don't shake anymore.
Now, maybe I ought to call the doc anyway.
I guess you must think Oh, Alex. I was maybe a minute or so past the railroad bridge when I heard this thing.
What thing?
It was on the news. About a patient at Clearwood escaping. And please notify if you see him and telephone number and all.
Any description?
Well, all I can remember was something about his being dressed all in black.
Nothing more.
Hear that?
What?
Siren? Police siren?
Why, it could be a fire truck.
Oh, yes, I suppose so.
You've heard sirens before.
Yes, I know, but...
No buts.
But they're searching for him.
I still don't know who him is, except he's one of those mental cases from Clearwood.
Well, he was just standing by the side of the road. But first I could barely see him in the shadows, dressed in black as he was.
Well, what'd he do?
Nothing. Just stood there, looking.
Didn't threaten you?
And then he said something. It was like, I want to communicate with you. Yes, I think that was it.
And you got out of there fast. Did he shout?
No. His voice was soft and mild.
And he said communicate? You sure he used that word?
Communicate, yes.
It's a queer word to use, don't you think? I mean, most people would say talk. I want to talk with you.
Communicate. I mean, I know what I heard. I looked up when I heard him, and by now he was in the sunlight, and I could see him clearly, just a few feet away. Alex, he had no face.
Oh, Judy.
I know what I saw. There was no face. I'm not hysterical, and I saw him.
Oh, if you say so.
Oh,
but...
why don't you believe me?
Yeah, 'cause I can't conceive of anyone without a face, that's why. Now, all right, let's start from the beginning. Did you see his eyes?
No.
Was he wearing a hat?
Yes, a black one.
Well, it could throw a shadow over his eyes so you couldn't see them.
It's possible.
Well, it has to be. How the devil could anyone? He could have been in an accident, surgery. But how would he... All right, let's go on. Now, what about his nose?
No, I didn't see any.
Could be the hat again. Mouth? His mouth, Judy. You see, if the sun was hitting over his shoulder, then there'd be a shadow from his hat. In that case, the mystery's over.
You're trying to make me feel like a fool. I don't care what you or anyone else thinks, but I saw a man with no face. Then you can know what you can do with your theory about the sun and the shadows. I don't know about flying saucers, and I don't take pills, and I don't smoke pot, or whatever they call it. And I'm not crazy in imagining things. For your information, Alex, my eyes are still 20/20, and they saw, oh, God help me, a man without a face.
Alex, what's this all about? I mean, meeting you down the road instead of at your house.
I didn't want Judy to worry, Ben.
Well, I'm a police officer, not one of those secret agents you see in the movies.
Ben, she says she saw the patient from Clearwood.
Is that why you got me out here like this?
He escaped.
You make it sound like he's Jack the Ripper. Because he's from Clearwood, you got the idea he's a raving homicidal maniac.
Oh, sure. All they've got out there are a bunch of lovable folks who are just a little mixed up.
You're really upset. Never seen you like this.
I guess I didn't know how much until right now. Judy ran into him on that big curve near Clearwood.
She wasn't the only one. We've had calls from all over. Funny, you get sober citizens see him at the same time, and miles apart, and dressed different. Happens every time. Take a hot day, mix in a little imagination.
And this was real.
Of course it was.
Ben, Judy's not, but she's not the type.
Now take my word for it, Alex. Every time something like this happens...
Naturally, they're doing something about it, like cruising the highways, enjoying the scenery. I'll give him credit for enough brains to hide out.
Oh, I suppose you want police officers out in the field?
That's where they ought to be.
Sure. We'll hire a couple of hundred extra. Won't that make the taxpayers jump for joy? Come here.
What for?
Now, come here. I won't bite. I want you to hear this. This is 5. This is 5.
Receiving 5. That you, Ben? Over.
Look up something for me, will you? Over.
Go ahead. Over.
How many identifications we got on the Clearwood thing?
Give me a second. Here it is. Ben, we got 12 so far. Over.
Hear that, Alex? 12.
Everyone's a positive, too. Point blank range. Over.
What's the spread? Over.
This'll kill you. Nearest one is 2 miles. Longest is over 30. Over.
See, Alex? Everybody sees what he wants to see.
You still with me? Over.
Yeah, right here. Over.
Something you might be interested in. Over.
Standing by.
One of the boys here says it must be some kind of calls it mass hysteria or something. About half the idents claim this guy is nothing like anything you or me ever seen.
Like how? Get to it, will you?
Well, they say they had a close look and that he ain't got a face like you and me.
A man without a face. Judy is not the only one. But think for a moment. In this last part of the 20th century, and its attendant wonders and discoveries, what is true and what is unreal? Is there anything no longer possible? Is there? I'll be back shortly with Act 2. Well, the doubting Alex knows that there's nothing wrong with his wife's power of observation. She did see a man, and though he does have a face, there is something missing. A mouth. Result of an accident? Or is he a mutation? A gruesome congenital result? Or perhaps from out of this world? Let's join Alex and see if we can find out.
This is Alex Harper calling. Could you connect me with the director of the sanitarium, please?
Rich is here.
I'm sorry to bother you, Doctor. I'm Alex Harper. I have a place on Route 36, about 8 miles from you.
Of course, I've passed by there quite often. What can I do for you, Mr. Harper?
Doctor, I hope you won't laugh or anything, but I have a couple of questions about this fellow who broke out of your place.
Michael.
That's his name? Michael? Michael what?
Well, now, we have no full identification. He gave us only his first name.
But he was a patient at Clearwood, wasn't he?
In a sense.
Was he or wasn't he?
Well, only for one day. You see, Michael is a rather unique case, most unique. In all my years, I've never seen anything like him.
Look, I have to speak low because I don't want my wife to hear. She's in the kitchen and she's plenty upset already about your Michael.
She's seen him? Where? Have you notified the police?
Well, I thought I'd speak to you first. She saw him, and from what she says, she's either crazy or hysterical. And I can tell you, she's not either one of them.
Well, Michael is, well, he's different.
Different? That what you call a guy without a face?
Without a... Oh, no. He has features.
The eyes, nose, and the rest of it?
Well, of course.
Then my wife, she didn't see what she says she saw?
No, I haven't said anything like that, Mr. Harper. What I was referring to was his appearance, not his powers of reasoning or social behavior, because, quite frankly, he didn't talk to us. Outside of his name, we couldn't establish contact with him at all.
Well, what about his, as you call it, appearance?
Michael has no mouth. From what we can tell, he was born without a mouth. We don't know how he communicates, or if he does at all, or how he manages to ingest food. Truth is, he wrote his name on a scrap of paper. You see, Michael may be something quite new to our world, Mr. Harper. Perhaps one of a kind.
Maybe he's, what's the word I'm hunting for?
Mutation?
Yeah, that's it.
I hope to God that he is what he appears to be. A freak. A one-time thing. But suppose he's only the first, the beginning of perhaps a new kind of man.
Alex? Be right in. Uh-oh.
What were you... Oh, no.
Oh, it's only an old ashtray. No big loss.
How'd that happen?
I got up when you called, and this case was on my lap, and it fell off.
Well, you'll pick up the pieces, won't you? I've got something cooking.
Sure. Hey, it's open. Judy! Judy, the bag is open.
What's open?
Oh, well, never mind. Well, what do you know? Hey, will you look at this?
Now, Alex, you want me to ruin supper?
Well, it's almost like a miracle. You see, Ace found this bag, and I couldn't figure out a way to open it. It looks just like the kind of bag Doc Stevenson carries.
You don't have to be an engineer to open one of those.
Oh, yeah? Well, this one has no lock or no nothing. And when I just dropped it and broke the ashtray, it opened up. And look what's in it.
Let me see this eighth wonder.
All these bottles.
Hey, that's strange. Doesn't feel like glass.
Plastic.
Not plastic either. I never felt anything like this.
Oh, what's the difference? Say, here's one that says cardiac arrest.
And this one's cerebral occlusion and lymphoid carcinoma?
Angina pectoris and respiratory carcinoma, spinal sarcoma.
And this one at the end, tuberculosis. Alex, what is all this? What are these pills?
Well, how should I know, except that they're important. Here's one that's different. For cuts, bruises, and dermatological eruptions.
Looks like talcum powder. It obviously belongs to a doctor.
But what a doctor.
What does that mean?
Have you ever heard of a doctor who has a bag full of pills that cures heart disease and cancers, not to speak of stroke? The worst plagues of mankind, and here in our hands are the answers to what science has been searching for?
Cures? Those pills aren't cures. Who ever heard of a pill curing cancer, heart disease, or stroke?
Well, why not? Think a moment. Look at this bag, Judy. Never seen anything like it in your life. I tell you, I don't understand it. I don't know where it came from, but it's like nothing on this earth. And these pills, now go on and laugh if you want to. But I know they can do what their labels say. Now, I can't prove it, but I know.
All right, dear. If you want to think that, you go right on. I've got dinner to make.
Now, don't patronize me.
Alex, aren't you carrying this a little too far?
You don't seem to realize what we have here.
And you do. Those things could be dangerous for all you know.
Oh, my God. Now, how can I prove... Whoa. Wait, there is a way. And right now, here, help me. Here.
No, don't, Alex.
All right, then I'll get these bandages
Please,
off myself.
Now, I'm begging you. Now, the doctor said that...
It's kind of awkward. Now, get scissors and cut some of this away. Now, get it.
I won't be part of this stupidity. Now, you've lost your mind.
Are you going to help me or not? Now, once I get the bandages off, I'm only going to put some of that powder on the stitches and on the skin where it's so red. That's all. A little powder. Oh, now, what can happen? What? Honey, don't you realize what this is all about? If this should work, and it will, you'll see, then those pills for cancer and heart... See now?
Alex, these things happen in stories, but not...
It's for you. You'd be well. Don't you understand? When Doc told me what he'd found, that you had a heart condition,
But he assured me it was nothing to worry about.
Oh, the old bedside manner. He wanted to break it to you easily.
Did he tell you that it was...
No, I can't say that, but how can heart disease be anything but serious? So when somehow the bag opened and I saw what was inside, I couldn't think of anything but that you could be cured just like that. Oh, honey, I love you.
Oh, Alex, I guess it's all right. Where are they? Here they are.
That's better. Now, careful now. You don't want to cut those stitches. Good. That's fine.
Oh, the skin is so red.
Sorry, looking mess. I know. Now, please give me that bottle of powder or whatever it is.
Alex.
Now, please.
Here.
The bottle is warm.
Well, it's a hot day.
Oh, it feels as though it's generating the heat itself. Isn't that wild? Judy, will you do the honors? Just shake some all over.
All right. That should do it.
A little more.
It's all covered.
That ought to do it.
Feel anything?
Not yet.
How long do you think it'll take? That is, if it...
Well, it hasn't even been 30 seconds. I suppose it'll take a little time, though. I didn't expect a miracle like that water into wine kind of thing. The powder's got to work its way in.
Well, I'll get some fresh gauze. You still ought to keep it covered.
Yeah, that might not be a bad idea.
I wonder what's bothering Ace. Oh, there he is. Alex.
What is it?
Look over there. It's him. The one Ace is running after, the man I saw on the road, the man without a face.
I'm going after him. Now, lock the door after me and call the police.
Oh, no, don't go. Let the police handle it.
He's heading out to the East Fields. Now, call him. Tell him.
He might be dangerous.
No, I won't get too close. Just enough to keep track of him until the police get here.
Oh, just thinking of him. I'm so frightened.
Oh, now, there's no need to be. I didn't want to tell you before, but I talked to the head of Clearwood, and this guy, this Michael is his name. He's a little queer, but he's not dangerous. Anyway, there's nothing to worry about as long as you stay inside.
Twice in one day. Why here?
He's not after you. What reason would he have?
I suppose not, but somehow... That's what he wants. The bag. The medicines. It must be his bag. He's come for it.
Him? A doctor?
It has to be. That's the only explanation.
Well, I'll give you another. He's escaped and wants to stay off the main roads. After all, you spotted him, didn't you? He just wants to get as far from Clearwood as he can. By chance, he was cutting across our place when he ran into Ace. Now, look. Now, I'm going to go after him before he gets too far. Remember, the police and the door.
Now, don't get your dander up, Alex. We've known each other too long for that. Now, you just show me again where you saw this fella last.
Ben, I know that a good cop ought to be skeptical, but by God, I saw him run under that tree, then up and over that fence. Now, why would I lie?
I don't mean to make out that you did any such thing. It's just so darn queer.
Huh?
Look for yourself.
Look at what?
That's it. Nothing to see.
Oh, come on now. Let's stop this rustic routine.
No footprints.
Prints?
Feel the ground. Soft, isn't it?
So it's soft.
And where are the prints? You say he was running?
Yeah, with Ace right behind him.
A man running puts down a mighty heavy print. Heavier than if he was walking.
He could have gone across these rocks?
Could have. But nobody could jump from rock to rock. Why, it must be 20 feet between them.
Yeah.
Unless he can fly. Must be clear out of the county by now.
Now, how do you come to that conclusion?
Ace. That's why. We were anywhere near that there Michael, we'd be hearing Ace. You know he's always been a noisy dog.
Well, he could have lost interest and run off after a rabbit or a woodchuck.
Yeah, maybe. Something right over there, Alex. To your right.
Grass is too tall. I can't see a thing.
Something black. This side of that thorn bush.
I see it. He's wearing black. Everything black.
Yeah. Come on out. Stand up. Now, I'm telling you for the last time. Put up your hands and come out. Now, I'm going to fire a shot in the air, and if that doesn't fetch you, I'll put the next one into you.
Ben, I don't think he's coming out. You won't shoot, will you?
Just you watch.
But he isn't armed.
How do you know that?
Well, if he was, he could have cut you down. Standing up, you make a beautiful target.
You got something there.
I'm going in. I got an idea. He's so scared he can't move.
Now, don't be stupid. Come back.
Oh, my God.
Of all the stupid things...
Oh, it's Ace. Our dog. He's dead.
Yeah. Gee, I'm sorry.
Oh, there isn't a mark on him.
Look at his face.
Oh, it's horrible.
If I didn't know better, I'd say that something scared that dog to death.
There is no medicine for fear. The icy chill that reaches out with frigid fingers to clutch the heart. The shadow of the inexplicable Mr. Michael hovers close by, and the lives of at least 2 people will be irreparably altered. We'll find out how when I return shortly with Act 3. The family dog has died mysteriously, and the presence of Mr. Michael is as real as if he had knocked at the front door. Now the ride back to the farmhouse is a silent one, broken only by a few perfunctory remarks as it comes to an end.
I'll keep in touch, Alex. If you see anything, give us a call.
Yeah.
Mighty sorry about Ace. See you, Alex.
You okay?
Okay.
Is that Ben in the police car?
Yeah, it's Ben.
Oh, you should have invited him in.
I guess so. I just didn't think. Judy.
Did he get away? The man who...
Oh, Ben thinks he's out of the county.
Oh, I hope so.
Judy, we were following Ace.
Alex,
And
look at it. It's the miracle you were talking
I met
about.
Ben and we were over in the
Call the
North
doctor.
Field.
He'll drop everything and come out when you tell him. And I was the one who didn't believe. I don't understand you. I thought you'd be jumping up and down because what you said would happen did. I'm so happy for you.
Huh?
Don't you hear me? Alex, look at your arm, your left arm.
My God. My God in heaven.
I didn't believe it. Oh, what an idiot I was. Talcum powder. You want to know the truth? I thought you'd flipped. Absolutely over the deep end. Telling me to shake powder on
Hey, I'm moving it. You see? Like it was before the accident. It's like a young arm. It's brand new. Yahoo! No more pain.
No more stitches.
No more pain.
He couldn't believe it. He won't believe it.
Oh, Doc Stevenson, boo. Boo on all doctors.
Here.
Hey, what do they know anyway? You'll never have full use of that arm. I wonder if you followed my advice. You'll think I borrowed another arm. Look, not a single scar. It looks like the skin was never even scratched.
Oh, it's so wonderful.
Oh, and I love you.
You won't be angry with me.
How could I be? And why should I be?
The doctor's bag, the one Ace found,
Yeah, the bag. Where is it?
I have it.
Well, get it. Now that we have proof. Judy, you're going to be as good as new. The proper pill and no more heart condition. Hear that, world? Listen, oh, gracious universe.
Well, it's on the desk.
Well, what are we waiting for?
Alex.
Look, if it works like the powder, we'll stand them all on their collective ears. Judy, the bag is locked again.
I was so full of doubts. When you left, I looked at the bag and... Oh, Alex, to me it was the embodiment of everything evil. And I wanted to destroy it, so I picked it up and somehow I pushed the flap down.
Well, now I can't tell where one part fits into another. See, I can't find a seam anywhere.
I think it was just about here. Try there.
No, that's no use. I'll drop it on the floor, maybe like last time. Still in one piece. I'll try again. No use.
Oh, forgive me.
Right now, we got to figure out a way to get the bag open so we can get you a heart pill.
Alex, you have an electric drill.
I can try. I'll take it out to my workbench in the barn.
Well, why not wait until morning? It's getting dark now.
No, time like the present. Now, give me a shout when dinner's ready. If I'm lucky, I may be back before then. I'll get this thing open if I have to use dynamite. Oh, here goes. Nuts.
The instrument will not achieve penetration.
Who?
Do not be alarmed. I mean you no harm. You know who I am?
Michael?
I am he.
Don't come any closer.
There is nothing to fear. There is no belligerency in me.
I have a gun. This rifle is loaded.
That is a weapon?
Yes.
It can bring an end to consciousness?
Easily.
It is not my intention to cause any fear.
But you have. You killed my dog today.
The creature threatened me, and I did not intend to. I did not realize how weak it was. A simple mental probe, and I regret the occurrence.
Haven't you ever seen a dog before?
They are images in books and pictures.
There are no dogs or animals where you come from?
There is barely enough room for the higher forms of life. We have never learned to curb our reproductive powers, it seems.
Well, where is this place you come from? This is Earth, the third planet from the sun, I think.
I know. It is my home, too.
Oh, that can't be.
I exist, but not of your time.
Not of my time?
Time runs on. There is a past, a present, and a future. The threads are simultaneous.
Oh, now you don't expect me to
I
believe.
am fatigued from my experience, and I must return. If you will kindly give back my case to me, the one you have on the bench.
It's yours?
That is why I have come. It was misplaced, lost. But now that I have found it...
Well, there's no argument about it, Doctor. It's yours.
I am not a doctor, not in the context of usage in your time.
Well, who cares? Listen, the case was opened. I don't know
the
how.
The mechanism is faulty. I must exchange it. You did not utilize any of the contents.
Well, only some of the powder in the bottle labeled...
Yes, I am aware.
Well, I did a fantastic job with my arm. Look at it. Look at it, Michael. Would you believe that only a few hours ago it was a mess?
I am well aware of the powers inherent in the powder. But now, please, give me the case. You cannot open it, for the key is in my hands alone.
Stay back. I must open it once more, or you will. I've got to have something from it.
Comprehend this. My time is far in your future. The compounds are of another time, different metabolisms. Evolution has caused basic changes.
But the powder worked on me.
It is probably the single exception.
I don't believe you. Look, I'll give you anything. Money. How much do you want to open it?
I shall prove my point to you. You must be aware of the differences in our physiognomies.
You mean your face?
Exactly. The lack of an aperture above the jawbone. You call it a mouth. Have you wondered then how we are communicating? I have no mouth, for we ingest our nourishment through an osmotic process unknown to you. And if I have no mouth, then how do we communicate?
Well,
You are moving your mouth, and I hear. I, on the other hand, send my thoughts to you through my mind. You see this is so?
Yes.
Think of it in this manner. I am you in a distant time. You should be able to comprehend then that medicinal compounds of my time may not be of benefit in yours. The differences in us are too great.
But my arm...
You were lucky to have chosen that particular container.
My wife will die unless she has a pill. Just one pill.
I have explained why you cannot have a pill.
Open that bag or I'll kill you. Now, I mean it.
My demise will not help you. Comprehend. An unusual accident took place. A time warp misfunctioned, and I found myself in your time. The accident must have disturbed my balance, and I wandered from this place, leaving my case behind. We have communicated sufficiently. I feel joyous that your infirmity responded to the powder, but I cannot allow you to maintain possession of the case any longer.
Stop.
I took a vow to protect it with my life. I must fulfill that vow. Give it to me.
That'll hold you for a while. You don't realize it, but you told me how to open this. You said the key is in your hands. It'll open to your handprints. Now your right hand on the bag. Oh, nothing. Well, maybe both at once. There. I'll try one on each side. Yes, I've got it. Judy, it's open. Come on, Michael, wake up. Come on, you're okay. Piece of ice on your cheek should help. That's it. Easy now. Fine.
What?
How do you feel?
I thought your aim was to extinguish me.
No. I only wanted one of those heart attack pills. You see, my wife Judy has a heart condition. Well, she had a heart condition. Thanks to you, we don't have to worry about that anymore.
This other person, your wife, she ingested the dosage?
It's like a flash. After she saw what happened to my arm, she had no hesitation. If I could only have just one of each of those different pills, I wouldn't have...
I have communicated to you that I am not a physician, yet you have refused to accept the truth. You insist I am practiced in medicine because I possess a case apparently similar to physicians of this time era.
Well, you can't blame me for thinking that.
You will not communicate. you will listen. You poor man. Poor individual. Let me inform you of my profession. I am proudly the highest ranking exterminator.
Exterminator?
Precisely. I communicated earlier that in my era there is barely enough room for all who inhabit the planet. Therefore, exterminators trained to eliminate painlessly and quickly.
Oh, no.
The pills, as you refer to the compounds, are each a dose of death. The case is full of death. The tools of my trade.
Oh, no.
All except the container of first aid powder which I keep for my personal needs. Fortunately for you are now thoroughly healed down. But the rest...
But the labels, the tuberculosis, the heart attack, cancer...
The compounds act within a matter of minutes, bringing death, of course. Instead of resorting to the crude murders of earlier, more primitive eras, it is more comforting for the family to report that one of its members has died of cancer, heart disease, or any one of a dozen other diseases.
Murder.
Elimination.
Murder.
My case, please.
You must have an antidote. If you make a mistake, there must be some way you...
are not committed. I am sorry for your bereavement. I shall depart. Be assured, there was no pain.
No.
Naturally, there were those who were skeptical. A man from another time who conversed through telepathic means? Much too fantastic. Alex Harper would look with infinitely sad eyes and agree that it was too much to expect anyone to believe his story. Except for one thing. And he would bare his left arm. Explain this, he would say. And if you can, I will agree that I dreamed the entire nightmare. I'll be back shortly. In a ditty from a well-known operetta, the words are, "Things are seldom what they seem. Skim milk masquerades as cream." And as you have just heard, words alone may tell only part of the real story. But for stories guaranteed to increase your pulse beat, my suggestion is the Radio Mystery Theater. Our cast included Patrick O'Neill, Marion Seldes, Ian Martin, and Leon Janney. The entire production was under the direction of Hyman Brown. This is E.G. Marshall inviting you to return to our Mystery Theater for another adventure in the macabre. Until next time, pleasant dreams.
Music. This is KIXI dial 91 AM or 96 FM, Seattle.
CBS News. More talks for Secretary of State Kissinger today in Syria before he takes off for Israel. This is Ann Crosman reporting on the CBS Radio Network. Kissinger continues talks with Syrian President Assad today. Kissinger reportedly believing he will be given a list of Israeli prisoners of war to deliver to officials in Jerusalem. The secretary is scheduled to fly there later this morning on his Mideast peace-finding mission. Kissinger is trying to get Israel and Syria to negotiate troop disengagement on the Syrian front. More news in a minute.
When you drink beer, do you tilt the glass for long, hearty swallows? Or just tip it and sip it? Well, sipping's the thing for wine. But Budweiser beer is a hearty drink, brewed for zest and character. The best way to enjoy Bud is to drink it. Not chug-a-lug, just man-sized beer drinker swallows. That's when that famous Budweiser taste, smoothness, and drinkability really come through. Smoothness and drinkability that come only from natural carbonation and exclusive beechwood aging. Smoothness and drinkability, too good for any half-hearted sipping. So drink up. You'll see that brewing beer right does make a difference, and that when you say Budweiser, you said it all. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis.
A United Airlines flight on its way from San Francisco to New York made an unscheduled landing at the Milwaukee airport yesterday after a passenger grabbed a dinner knife and jumped up from his seat. Lieutenant Daniel Richardson of the Milwaukee County Sheriff's Department tells us what happened after that.
People in the area where this man suddenly jumped up from his seat and arbitrarily began stabbing people in the area. Two people which sat right alongside him who initially subdued him along with two other passengers, and he was taken out of the area to a safe part of the airplane by the first officer on the ship. And these passengers, nobody else on the plane became involved in it. Nobody can say what took place. All we can say is that he jumped up and began yelling things such as Nazism, and things of this nature.
The man is identified as Robert Slutsky of Long Island. He and two other passengers received superficial wounds. Slutsky will be charged later today with assault with a deadly weapon. The AAA says that its latest weekly check shows that Atlantic coast states and parts of the Pacific Northwest continue to be hardest hit by gasoline shortages. The AAA says the situation seems to be better in the north-central states. In Chicago, there's been a court decision of interest to everyone who buys and sells gas. Ralph Howard of CBS station WBBM has a report.
The first gasoline dealer in the nation to be charged by the IRS with price gouging has been found guilty in federal court. The judge found station operator Sam McBride guilty of 2 counts of gas gouging in contempt of court. McBride was fined $17,000. At the time, the IRS accused McBride of forcing customers to buy a rabbit's foot or a form for making out a will before they could buy gasoline. The price worked out at times to be as much as $2 a gallon. One of those trying to buy gasoline was an IRS agent, and she's the one who filed charges. McBride also happens to be a Chicago policeman. Ralph Howard for CBS News, Chicago.
The Los Angeles Times says that John Ehrlichman, the president's former domestic affairs advisor, has turned down an offer from Special Watergate prosecutor Jaworski for plea bargaining. The Times quotes friends of Ehrlichman as its source for the report. Ehrlichman is charged with conspiracy, burglary, and perjury in connection with the break-in at the office of Daniel Ellsberg's psychiatrist. Yesterday, the president's lawyers said that Mr. Nixon would refuse to obey a subpoena from a California court to testify in Ehrlichman's trial. The lawyers claim that no state can constitutionally command a president to do anything. The president has asked top Republican leaders to the White House for breakfast this morning. Among those expected, Vice President Ford and George Bush, chairman of the Republican National Committee. A new ransom has been demanded for the stolen Vermeer painting in London. On Tuesday night, a man with a West Indian accent telephoned a London newspaper demanding free heating oil for old people in North London. The caller reportedly said, "We're going to ask Mrs. Harold Wilson to get the money for us. She is the wife of Britain's Labour Party leader." This demand comes on top of an earlier demand for a little more than $1 million worth of free food for poor people on the Caribbean island of Grenada. The London city government has refused to give in to that demand. Some art experts say the painting is priceless. CBS News has learned that Samuel Bike, the man shot by police last Friday while trying to hijack a Delta Airlines jet at Baltimore International Airport, had planned to crash the plane into the White House if his hijacking had been successful. Newspaper columnist Jack Anderson says that Bike sent him a tape recording with the outline of those plans. Anderson reports that Bike dubbed his plan Operation Pandora Box, and that Bike was very angry about the Watergate affair. Bike mailed the tape to Anderson on the day of the attempted hijack. Police say that Bike shot and killed an airport security officer and the plane's co-pilot, and then shot himself dead after being wounded. This is Ann Crosman, CBS News.